fingertips above the water. You watched me drown. You could have saved me, but you let me down, yeah.
Junior, I've been waiting for this.
Oh, me too. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, this is all right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Great place, and I'm happy to be here.
It means a lot. Yeah, I'm glad we got in before the end of the year, too. So, you and Abby were on for a rip-roaring show a couple months ago.
Very
and
long.
Based upon the viewership of that particular show, the fan base for you, him, and obviously Poverty Neck fans going way back, and THW is very strong. So I want to commend you on that. I know you don't pay attention to those numbers.
Right.
It's up on my top 3 shows so far in terms of viewership.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. So, from me to you, thank you.
Hey,
and
thank
congratulations, because it's a big part of what we're doing so far.
Any chance we get to, hash out old stuff, it's nice. That's why they tuned in to see if we were talking shit. That's that's why.
Well, of course. So, speaking of that, can you give me an update on THW?
The new single "Lonely Girl" is up to 44 on the Music Road charts. So to us, it's a big deal. That's the highest we've been since Poverty Neck. So
really,
yeah. Now it's Music Road chart, not Billboard, and I couldn't tell you what the difference is. I know what the difference is monetarily wise, but I don't know. I don't know what the difference is.
The whole industry is different.
Yeah,
monetarily
it's a mess. And apparently, with country radio, there's many charts for the genre, not like rock and pop. It's one, right? Yeah. So so it's very confusing. But all I know is we're 44, and that sounds pretty nice to me.
Yeah, it sounds pretty nice to me too.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about that song too, because that's, as I told Abby in a prior conversation, that was the most of all the stuff that you folks did going back to Poverty Neck. That to me seemed to be the most radio friendly. Period. Even crossover style to me. Again, this is my opinion.
Right.
But what's the origin of that song? How'd that song come about?
The origin of that is Tommy Cecil and Matt from Parmalee. They wrote it, and I probably a couple of the guys. I don't remember the whole list of people. They wrote it, and they weren't using it. And sometimes when cats in Nashville, they don't know what to do. Like they're writing songs or getting songs, and they don't know what really is going to make them make it pop. So sometimes if you get in with them, and Abby and him created a friendship, and they seemed to like what we were doing and trying to help us out, and they were good songs, so we were able to get to use it. And a lot of the stuff about that just things are better today, and we knew you're not dealing with 7 people plus a producer, right? We kind of know where we want to go. We knew where we wanted to be, what the guitar wanted to sound like. Mm-hmm. We know we were looking for and what Abby needed to do, and we were lucky enough to get the songs that didn't suck. They're really good, and then we were able to get a good producer who was Tommy Cecil to get it to crank up.
Your final produced version of that song, how different is that from the very first time you heard the song? It was presented to you.
Not really different, because down there they basically they do almost everything. It's what they do. They just everything's so quick. In today's age, everybody's just getting better at computer stuff. So they're in the studio. They're in the writing room right now, writing a song. And while one guy's finishing up a little bit of chord, the other guy's already on there making tracks and doing stuff. So they want to try to get it. If you're writing for 3 hours, is about the max you're going to do. You're trying to get like an actual demo done that day, so they have it kind of figure out where they wanted to go that moment on. Then they can just keep building onto it after that.
So did you hear it in a skeleton stage, or was it a finished product?
It was not a finished product, but it was definitely produced and stuff. Like that's what they do. It was on a cutting room floor. They probably went and recorded 40 of those songs and then sent them to all their family and friends. And then one gets dropped off, one gets pushed on.
I want to get your impression the first time you heard it, because I got Abby's already. So the first time you heard it, what did you think?
They sent it was like 2 different files with a bunch of songs. So I forget where we're headed. Maybe to Nashville, who knows? And we listened to them all together in a car, and that was there was just a couple of them that there's always a couple songs that hit you, and it's like, oh, it's great. And by the time it gets to the chorus, they're just not solid full songs.
So it takes a while.
Yeah, it takes finally, but then this song started off and it had that big bass drop in it, where I was excited, and then
Marshmallow, right?
Right, yeah, I love Marshmallow. And then they're doing the whoa whoas. It's like, man, this is really neat. What's going on here? And then the content was great. I like the Red Straw. The whole thing about it. It just was you could tell it was a good song. It was written very well, and it was exciting, and it had the sound that we were going for.
Okay.
So immediately we just all looked at each other and played it again.
That's exactly the same answer to Abby.
Yeah, played it again. We just giggled and had a good time the whole way down. And we picked about 4 or 5 that day is all we could find that we added 60 or so.
if I was to deliver, if I say I was in Nashville and I did a song and I delivered it to you, and you got it, how much latitude do you have in regards to that song in terms of changes, lyrical changes? Or do some songs come with a great degree of latitude and some don't?
Well, that's a great question, because I still have that question, and I don't ask because it's just like it's a big business, and it's all a bunch of unwritten rules, right? So I mean, if you're lucky enough to get the song, I don't think it's kind of like not cool to go in and start nitpicking the lyric. Well, then why'd you pick the song? Pick another song. You know what I mean? There's a lot of the songs that you can't count.
Okay.
You know, if me and 5 of my buddies wrote this song, I don't need you coming in and telling me how you want to do it. If you're lucky enough to get it,
You either want it or you don't.
either one or you don't. And if you think it's weak somewhere, then you don't want the song. And that's kind of how I think that they're thinking of it. But I don't know how that goes. All I know is we didn't say anything because we don't want to lose the song. Or,
what about guitar
somebody
solos
else.
and things? Let's say the chorus, verse, chorus. I mean, I understand a simple song structure.
Yeah.
But beyond that, how much liberty and latitude do you have as a guitar player to throw in your own?
Musically, we got all the stuff you want.
You have it all.
Yeah, musically you can do whatever you want, but like lyrically is kind of where it's at.
Okay.
But also, in this case, the producer was also one of the co-writers on the song too. So I mean, he knew how it just was good. But like that's the thing about a good producer. He didn't care what it used to sound like. He's making sure that it fits with us.
Got it.
He takes our whole thing in. That's a good producer. Not everybody is like that. You know, he wanted to make sure Abby sounded the best on it, but obviously something new and fresh. Wanted to make sure the guitars, everything was mixed right, and that we liked it. Not that he had the stamp of approval. He was worried that we liked it, and he was the best we've ever worked with.
Okay, talking about producers, take me back a little bit. So you've been recording for a long time in various capacities as well, on your own, as well as doing it with Poverty Neck, THW. I get it. My question is, you're saying you're working with the best producer you've ever worked with currently now?
Currently, I mean, because he takes it like... Yeah, I will say that. Not because any of the guys before were bad.
Okay.
It was because I don't think our mind was right. Like, it's, our collective minds weren't together. I mean, I'm old school country, but I love everything. And like, I don't ever want to get left behind because I'm not paying attention to what's really on there. But obviously I think some stuff is real cheesy, right? Just because it's like hip and people are doing it today doesn't mean it's any goddamn good.
That's right.
So you got to find the right way to walk the line, on the good and the bad and what you like. So now you've got, back in Power Night, there were 7 of us plus a producer, right? Fighting over everything. So you either keep fighting and no one wants to work with you anymore, or you just give up and then your stuff kind of sounds like it is. You have no excuse. It's a rough.
So have you been in circumstances through your career when you're going through the process and you're saying it's just not quite right?
All the time.
But you keep it to yourself at times because you're part of a collection, right?
No, I never keep it to myself. But the problem is, I can't do that. That's not me. So like, I can't keep it to myself. But after you say it 7 times and it's not getting changed, you kind of have to go ahead and say,
sure,
that's what it's going to be.
That's a band, right?
Right. That's what it's going to be. But in these cases, there was nothing on there we didn't like. We just wanted extra stuff and all that good stuff.
How hard is it, do you think, for a producer to stay and be relevant? Obviously, artists like yourself who have long careers have to keep changing and adapting, just like you said. Producers have to do that too, right? Even probably more so.
Right. That's the other problem with like people not doing it right when you are not good enough yourself as an artist, right? So like if you're not good enough, not everybody can play what they're playing on the radio. Not everybody can do that kind of stuff, and you can't always get that kind of creativity. And the producer's got to go through the same stuff. He's got to hear what you are good at and hear what you're bad at and find a way to make you good at it. Good at what we're all looking for. And it's difficult to do that. He's got to take himself out of his skill set too. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like, it's hard to find an analogy, but I can't do it all, and neither can everybody, right?
Sure.
I mean, so you got to get guys in there. A lot of guys have coaches. It's hard for a producer to get a rap on, say, a guitar player, and you can't find the part you're looking for. And not that they're bad parts.
They might not be able to give it to him, right?
Right.
You
can't have it.
Producer told me one time, I have something in my ear I want to hear for this. And this guy might be a legendary guitar player in rock circles, but he can't give me what I need.
That's it.
And that's why you see sometimes guest people on certain spots, and sometimes they're not accredited for it. Sometimes they're not. They're just paid off, and you never know what really is on the recorded product as opposed to what's live. And
there's a database full of every guitar player in the world down there, and he just dials one up that plays like that, and that's what you get. You know what I mean? Like, so whatever you want, that's the thing too. He's like a head coach. It's his job is to put the right guy in the right spot. I know what you want to hear. I know what I want to hear, but you can't play it. So let's find the right guy to get it done. And that's what a good producer does.
Does that mess with your, I don't know, the realism thing for you? I mean, because you're very organic. When I look at you as a player, I mean, you love playing acoustic. You love the instrument.
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong? You love the instrument. So to me, you're a guitarist. and an artist.
Yeah, I mean,
Am I right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I love all that stuff. Yeah.
So does that ever, that compartmentalized kind of process, does that ever like brush against what you really look at as core music?
All the time. No, it's a constant fight in my head. It's really tough to get through this stuff because, you know, you really don't want to be left behind in any kind of relevancy, right? You want to make sure what you're doing is right. You don't want to be left behind because you're the guy that won't work with anybody. But also you don't want to just give up because, you know, they don't like it. You know, I still like it, but you also got to get out of your own way. And sometimes, you know, it takes too long on a project, you know, because it costs a lot of money to be in there playing bad notes all night long or have the wrong idea. So, yeah, it sucks. But, like, you also kind of have to give up the idea that you are the guy for every job because you're not.
Okay. So that's more looking at it as a business.
You have to look at it every which way you possibly can. I mean, you can because you just got to keep moving on. You got to keep making music, and you got to keep, you know, working with other people to make it happen.
Do you view every time a major act you see a guitarist will peel off and do a solo project? Because that happens a lot. Vocalists do it too. Drummers sometimes do it. But when you see a guitar player do it, are we safe to assume, generally speaking, as the consumer, that he's peeling off to do this because whatever he's hearing or what he wants to do can't be done in that band?
Correct.
Is that right?
That's correct. That's right. I mean, it's like he's got a hunger and appetite he can't feed anywhere else. It's like, yeah, he loves the project he's in and he loves all those people. Like, you know, a lot of these bands are together, you know, 10, 15 years. Like us, for 15, 16 years we've been together. Love everybody, but there's just some stuff that I can't get done there. And you feel bad for wanting to go do something else because you don't want it to take any more time away from what you're doing. But in one thing, it's like you've got to scratch an itch. And it's like, why not go do it all and do it as soon as you can, because it's best to collaborate with everybody you can. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
All right, let's take this all the way back. Let's do the comfortable deep dive on you, as comfortable as I can make it.
Okay.
So you are a West Virginia boy, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Weirton.
Weirton. Mm-hmm. And you grew up in Weirton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still doing it.
Still making those long drives to Greensburg tomorrow,
yeah,
right?
That's right.
I do commend how dedicated you are by how many miles you personally put on. I'm amazed.
I'm a mover.
You're a mover, no question. What was your first experience with music? Do you remember?
I mean, my first experience is just my dad and my brother always playing music together. Well, mostly my dad, but my brother in his teenage years, he's 6 years older than me, they were playing a lot and they were having a lot of conversations in the car about, you know,
both guitarists?
chords. Yeah.
Okay.
About guitar chords and licks and songs and stuff, but I was not, I was a showman. I was always putting on a show somewhere. I was, you know, a drama queen. I mean, I used to wear...
what did you wear?
The rumor has it I had it all. I used to be a businessman. I used to be a car insurance salesman, and I used to do all kind of stuff like dress up. Did all the time. I was always in front of a mirror, always doing that dumb stuff.
You were pretending as a kid to do these things?
All the time. When I went to a friend's house, I took a suitcase of clothes to change into. I was a rich man. I was a mess. So I was always performing, I guess you could say. And then I wanted to get a little closer to them.
Where did that come from?
Well, I couldn't
if your
tell
dad
you.
was a musician,
Yeah.
and your brother was interested in music and guitars as well, where did that passion to dress up and make believe?
I don't know, but I had it. No one told me not to. So I just kept doing it. It was fine.
Okay, it was all men's clothing there, right?
So far. Yeah, I mean, I haven't made that turn, but I can't promise anything.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. It is 2019. Okay. All right. So when did you finally pick the guitar up?
Well, I picked it up because I want to get involved in the conversations. I felt kind of left out, my brother and my dad. And I asked my dad if he can start showing me, I want to get in.
How old were you?
About 11. So I started playing around 11. By 12, I was able to start. I was able to play. I was able to, like, not really well, but I could pick up, play songs. I could learn songs of my own by, 13 or so.
Okay.
Yeah. And then by 15, I never wanted to play guitar as much as I wanted to sing. Excuse me.
Beer.
Good beer.
I do it to you.
But so I was always just playing rhythm guitar, and I was always singing songs, and basically I would, my biggest influence is Hank Williams Sr. Like, I won't forget driving in my dad's old truck.
Okay.
AC Delso speakers, a cassette of, his 24 greatest hits. Love that stuff. But, when it came time to get good at playing the guitar and singing, I would listen to Garth Brooks records, CDs every day. Like,
that was it.
Because, he had the best guitar player in Nashville playing on all his records, so all those cool chords that, like, these open, beautiful chords, and obviously the songs are great, and who doesn't like Garth Brooks? So I spent a lot of time just learning all that, and that's kind of like really all the stuff I know kind of came from those songs. I mean,
really?
Because you're still using all that stuff today, right? So he stole it from whoever, and I think it's Cat Stevens is what it was, and he's incredible. So I learned all that stuff, and here I am now, just trying to do it again. over and over. If I can remember some of those.
There's a lot of years in between, pal.
Yeah.
All right, so did you your first gig, or before you actually, or the first people you actually played in front of? I'm guessing it's probably family and friends, right?
We have always had the biggest Christmas Eve party we could get together, everybody drinking and partying, when everybody we know plays guitar. So we have family and friends, but we also have friends around us who you can pass a guitar to. You know, it's my dad's best friend. He sings, and I mean, he sounds like he does things from Bread to Elvis to, he's just beautiful voice.
Okay.
Puts on a show, but we all pass it around and do it. And that's been going on since I was, before I could even play the guitar. So that was the main thing. You'd learn a couple songs and you can't wait till the next holiday party. And plus my parents like to get together and party throughout the year with no holiday needed.
Right.
You know, have a few beers, and that would happen all the time. So that was the first kind of.
Did you form something with your brother? I mean, did you get
No,
two?
God, no. By the time he wasn't playing anymore, he kind of gave that up.
He did?
Yeah, by the time I started getting good at it, he decided to. He wasn't doing it anymore. Huh?
Did you intimidate him?
No, it's just him and my dad had a falling out about music, and they kind of just stopped.
Musical tastes?
Probably about everything back then. You know, he was the oldest, so you know, there was a lot of tension there, and that kind of stuff.
I get it.
But now he's playing. He's back on it the last 6 years, and he's amazing. He sings now all of a sudden. It's amazing. I'm around some great people, like, my dad, he's 60-some. We got a bunch of, like, older cats who have just started playing guitar 5 years ago. They sing and play, and they go out and do it in public. It's amazing that we have a guitar party once a month.
Okay.
Down in Weirton, and it moves around from house to house, and everybody's invited, and we just get hammered up and pass the guitar around and play.
Your first paying gig?
First paying gig. Probably the Igloo Club in Weirton.
The Igloo?
The Igloo, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I know where that's at.
Yep, that's probably it. I was about 15 then, I guess.
Was it a solo show or what was
just
it? Was
acoustic.
a solo show.
Yeah, it's acoustic.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the first ensemble? Your first group? Did you
group.
create it? Did you join it?
First group. Well, I don't know. The first one I kind of joined, I think it was called Red Line. My dad was playing guitar in the band at the time, playing lead guitar.
Okay.
And it was me and two other singers, a girl named Tanya and Johnny on vocals, and I would sing too. My dad played lead guitar, and that's how I started. That's how I got into lead guitar. He was working 21 turns, and he used some kind of mind trick on me and said, "Hey, you're gonna have to learn how to play these songs because I gotta go. I gotta go to work." And so I never wanted to play lead guitar. It was like not in my wheelhouse.
You wanted to sing
and play rhythm. That's all I wanted to do. And I spent. He got in my head there, and I went downstairs in my 3 CD disc changer Awa. Love that thing.
I remember those.
I put Alan Jackson records in because he had the best guitar player in the world there, Brent Mason. And I went down there and just who's cheating who and all that stuff, and I played, and then that was addicting.
Learning the licks, learning
all of it was addicting, but then to have a second wave of addiction, it was like, are you kidding me? Like I couldn't wait to play all the chords and all that stuff and do that and get good at that. But then once I was able, with never doing it, going out and just be like, oh my God, that's fun. I could turn that thing up, get it cranked down. That was when I was messing with the amps and the guitars, trying to figure all that stuff out and trying to make whatever that was on the radio here.
Emulate it, right?
Get it close enough so people weren't going, making a face at you. I was never trying to get it right. I was trying to get it right enough.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's impossible to duplicate it exactly, right?
I think so.
Tone's a never-ending journey.
Yes.
We'll talk about that. So, what style of music would this be? Would you consider this to be traditional country at this time in your life? Was it, Garth Brooks obviously is modern country, Alan Jackson somewhat modern country.
That's what they say, but like these kids today think that that's traditional country, Garth Brooks, but it's not.
Absolutely.
It's like the people always keep that's an argument that I'll just continue.
Well, think about it. Garth Brooks today, going back and listening to those early '90s records, that sounds a hell of a lot more traditional than Taylor Swift.
I get it, but like we have the internet now, so get on the phone and like, why don't you Google Hank Williams singing?
Yeah, Google everything else, right?
And then go before him with the Jimmy Rogers stuff. It's that's how music evolves, just like life evolves. Everything evolves. It's like
and a lot of kids do that. I think some kids
do. But
yeah,
most of the conversations I hear, they don't. It's either like George Jones or Garth Brooks, and they're in the same category. They are not in the same category.
In the same category.
But whatever it is, whatever you like, I think you should like it all. And if you do, and I think you should play as much as you can.
When you were doing this music, though, did you ever did you know inside, or did you label it yourself? This is country music. I'm a country music guitar player, or was it just music? It was all
That's
you
all I
really
could do.
knew.
That's all I could do at the time. Like that's all I wanted to do. That's all I listened to.
So you didn't listen to metal,
Huge.
didn't listen to classic rock.
Made me sick. Oh, classic rock, yeah. But metal made me sick. It was just too much.
Okay.
Too fast. It was
Interesting.
like just being punched in the face. I just couldn't handle it.
It's like an angry bee, right? You want to shoot it when you
Right.
hit it.
It is. Now, I still don't love it, but there's a lot of stuff I enjoy from it. You know what I mean? Like, but it's not anything new. It's mostly like, like your Megadeth and your those kind of, that was some fun stuff.
So is it safe to say that you appreciated the virtuosity to a degree, but it wasn't something that really resonated with you?
Right. Like,
Is that
Eddie
right?
Van Halen, I never enjoyed. Now, yeah, you can play, I can't do any of that, but I don't want to do any of that.
Yeah, it didn't interest you enough.
Right. I think it's amazing, but it's just not something I've ever been into. I'm into Merle Haggard guitar. Brad Paisley was a good one.
Something more melodic, something that
just-
more fits with the song.
Just ear bending, right? Where like it would sound kind of normal, and then all of a sudden there's weird notes that you can't find. They're bending in opposite different directions. It's like, no, that is something, right? That's new to me. It wasn't just playing the scale over and over at 100 miles an hour.
So the speed didn't do anything to you.
Well, speed gets me, but I guess I
You mean like Roy Clark speed?
Well, that's insane. Yeah, he's insane. But
there are some great chicken pickers. That's what I'm saying. Some extremely fast
that's
players.
like Pete Anderson from Dwight Yoakam was my number one hero. So like that's all I listened to was Dwight Yoakam. By the time I could plug my own thing in, that's what I like. Dwight Yoakam was my guilty pleasure while I was having to play the modern stuff,
Got it.
which would be more like Garth Brooks and all that stuff, Tracy Bird. But I mean,
Sure.
I was a Hank Williams and Dwight Yoakam fan. I mean, like that guy to play guitar and produce all those records. I still don't know what the hell he's doing. I mean, still don't know what he's doing. It's incredible.
If someone said to you, what is the most impressive thing about the guitar, or what do you love the most about the instrument, that you describe it, what would you say? Being a player, not a fan of listening to it, but an actual player, what do you love about that instrument?
I don't know. I mean, almost everything. It's like it's become like I'll just look at it some days, like a Telecaster, a Telecaster-ish Telecaster body. I could just look at that guitar and find some emotional attachment, right? Just like the sweat and the rust on the strings, and then all the I got weird acidic sweat, so like it burns up everything, and it ages things fast. And I like the way it looks with the one cutaway. And I think Brad Paisley said it best. It's a cutting board with strings, and it's like that's the best part about it. It's not made to be held up as a pedestal. You're supposed to beat the hell out of these things to get the sounds you need
to
out of them.
extract the tone out of
Right,
it.
and it's like I enjoy that. I enjoy that about all guitars. I don't treat any guitar with any sort of, respect. You got to. It's a fight to get what you want out of these things. Yeah.
Well, and as I told you many times, that when I see you play a Telecaster, you're the prototypical type of guitarist I see live that should be playing a Tele, because you attack it. You got to attack a Telecaster. A Telecaster is not something you baby. It's just not a Strat. You can sit and baby. A Telecaster, you got to extract it out of there because it's obtuse. It's just. I'm not saying it fights you, but I'm sure sometimes a Tele can fight you.
They all fight you, but the Tele can definitely fight you.
Yeah, it's just something. It's a different animal, and unless you play one, it's hard to explain it, right?
It is.
I mean,
and it's bright if you don't know how to tame it. It can really rip your head off.
Yeah, I had an Ash. I had a 74 Ash with a maple neck and maple board, and it was like an ice pick in my ear, the brightest thing I ever. It was too shrill for me.
Right.
It was I couldn't tame it. It was just it was so bright.
It blows me away. Like I've never been a Fender amplifier fan.
It was
not
through
because they're not
Twin.
good, right? But like when you put a Telecaster, at least when I put a Telecaster through a Fender, I mean, I want to kill myself. It's just. But some of my favorite sounds and tones in the history are those two. But with me, it just doesn't work. It sounds like an ice pick, like you said. It hurts.
We have a local player here, Donnie Hollywood, and he's an incredible guitar player. But and Don likes volume. And I would go see Don play with my uncle, throughout the 90s and through once in a while he'd sit in with different bands, and he had his own band for a while too. But every time I would go, I would leave with the most incredible headache because his tone was just so. I mean, it was just that Tele attack. It's hard to tame a Tele.
It is hard.
But he wanted that tone, and for him it worked. But man, it's just tough. Teles just really rip your head off, man. I mean,
Agreed.
You're playing a Gibson style guitar now. I saw though.
Yeah. I've always liked the Gibson. I've always
Sounds
hated it.
really
I've always
amazing.
loved the sound of Gibson, but I've always hated to play one. even when you sit with it on your knee, it just falls off. It's just not right for me. But like I think we talked before, I got introduced to P90s and those pickups, and that's what kind of.
Well, it gives you more of a Fender vibe, I think.
Yeah, it makes it less
on a Gibson.
Right. So now I like it. It's big. It's full. The guys in the band, they get upset if you don't play it. So I just play it all night. But I certainly still miss the crook I have. I don't get to play it enough.
All right, so let's fast forward a little bit. I know last time you were on with Abby, we did a long show, and there's bits and pieces about how you all got together, but I really want to hear the story from you directly now with no outside influence at all. Right. Your memory of exactly how it happened. So Poverty Neck starts, and if I remember correctly, you were not really impressed with what you had saw.
You're so correct.
Is that correct?
Oh,
Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I just... But there's two things to that. I really didn't. The music to me wasn't pleasing to the ears.
No, give me the year. What years are we talking about now?
Oh, jeez. I guess. I mean, I think I joined in like 01 or 02 maybe. Yeah, so it
late
99, 2000.
Okay.
They were pretty popular. Well, by the time I heard of them, they were the biggest.
What band were you playing at the time, or was it your solo act?
That was with Dallas Marks.
That's right.
Playing with Dallas Marks. Me and John Parendo, the amazing fiddle player, we were together playing with him. And apparently. Well, anyhow, so I'm going to get all mashed up here. So I was playing with him.
Uh-huh.
Well, no, you asked me too.
When is the first time you heard them? Do you remember that?
First time I heard them was a battle of the bands that I accidentally went to. Me and two of my best friends went to the Red Star Tavern where the Texas Day Brazil is now.
Okay.
The lot of meat.
Yeah.
Great place. A lot of meat.
Yeah.
A lot of meat. That was there, and we just went up there because we were young, 21. Girls, get drunk. Let's go do all that.
But you didn't know it was happening that night.
Didn't know it was happening. I think it was battle. I think we knew it was a battle of bands. I didn't think we knew that they were headlining it. Like they weren't in it. They were the final act. I'm pretty sure we went there because of that. But I don't.
You went there for girls.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Girls and the puke from drinking. So we get there and then we missed it. We're always late, so we missed it, the whole damn thing. And they're up there getting ready. I'm like, oh, these guys. But every girl the hottest people in the world were at this place. So
had you seen them before? You had not seen them before?
Just online. They had videos online, which was pretty new back then too, which I thought were terrible. But anyhow, And then they played, and man, was it different. It was incredible. This was a moment that I'll never be able to forget. It's they get up and played. I mean, they're putting on the show. It seems so polished and so. I mean, I did see him before a couple of years. Yeah, I saw him in Steubenville at Rooney's. I saw them there, and it was like I said, it was packed, and I just didn't like it. But this show was just different, and it just everything sounded amazing. They looked good, they sounded good. It was like, my God. And I was drunk enough to literally, I would get upset, and me and my two best friends went across the street there where the ATM machine is, get more money, of course, but also I cried. I won't forget. I literally cried. I shed tears there, asking, how am I going to find guys that want it as bad as I want it?
Wow.
How am I going to find guys like that want this as bad as those guys?
You actually remember thinking that to yourself?
Well, I know that. I said, we can call them up right now. I mean, I'll never forget that moment. And, I'm kind of crying. They're like, oh, you'll get it. Don't worry. Your time will come. And out of this world, walked in there, got another drink, saw a girl on a dance floor that I saw from somewhere else, went up there and tried to dance and talk to her, didn't do very well. And as I'm doing all that awfulness, Abby jumps off the stage and says, are you Dave Guthrie? I said, yeah. While like in the middle of a packed dance floor. I didn't know he knew my name. And I said, yeah. I was trying to act all sober. And he says, would you be interested in playing with us, looking for a guitar player? And I said, yeah. And
that same night.
Same 20
night. Minutes after you'd been at the ATM, like worried you're never going to be able to get
crying
that.
about like, how am I going to find guys that want this as bad as I want it?
Wow.
And I get up there, and I was talking to his cousin at the time. I didn't know that part. So that was it. And then he said, just give your phone number to Juddy. And Juddy was our drummer's little brother, but he's also the ear monitor tech. He's like 16 at the time. And the Red Star Tavern had these two garage doors. The stage was right in the middle. These two garage doors were wide open. It was a nice little windy summer day. All I could find was this little sliver of paper with my name and number on it. And I gave it to him, and he wasn't very friendly to me that first night. And I said, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah. And I won't forget watching him take that piece of paper and just throwing it on the top of the mixer there. And I just remember looking at it and just shaking, like, oh man, this guy's gonna lose my number. They're never gonna call me. I'm like, but yeah, within a couple of days, I got a phone call.
And how'd that go?
Went fine.
Who called you?
Abby called me.
Okay.
haven't called. There was rumor that he was going to call because of John Parendo. That him and Abby have been friends for some time.
Okay.
And I remember getting a call from John saying, "Hey, they want your number. Is it okay to give it to him?" And I said, "Well, hell yeah, like of course, you know." But nothing ever happened until that night. So that's kind of all how it, you know, seemed up there. And then he called me. That's when I was selling shoes in Robinson there, building number 3.
Yeah. We're going to revisit that.
Yeah. And I got a call, and he said, "I sent you a CD." And I was in Robinson, so I had to drive. The same day, Abby's always a bit late on stuff. The CD got there the same day I had the rehearsal. Fun. So I had to get out of work, run home, and I only got to spend maybe 20, 25 minutes.
So you were listening to it in the car, though?
Yeah, but like to actually put fingers on the guitar, you know, and nervous as hell, and driving from Weirton all the way to Dawson, Pennsylvania, which I'm using MapQuest. I had to print out the goddamn
MapQuest.
Yeah, I had to print out the.
That's still a thing?
No, but it was then. It was awful.
Oh, you printed it out?
Yeah, I had to print it out. I know where I was going. It's like 2002. Yeah, and
no smartphone,
or even earlier. It was terrible. And I get out there, and you know, everybody remembers the story a bit differently, but that's how I remember it. And we're sitting there, and I set my stuff up, and they're already telling me the stuff they're going to buy me. Like Higby's already telling me, the fiddle player, he's already saying, "Hey, you know, we got these wirelesses and all this stuff," and then whatever. And I think I said, "You guys want to play some music first?" You know, that kind of thing. And so we started playing, and we didn't pick really anything that was on the record. We just picked like Working Man Blues. It was in key A,
Sure.
Grab an A and Hang On. And I remember during, like, it was solo time, and took a solo, and I remember like looking up in the middle of it. And everybody, you know, with that power face, you know, like, you know, shaking their head, like, I was like, "Oh, this must be going okay." And then we did a couple songs, and after it was over, Ryan, our drummer, and Jeff, our bass player, they said, "We got a couple questions for you." And they raised their hands, and one said, "Do you like PlayStation?" I said, "Yeah, John Madden football." And there was a big yes to that. And then, "Do you like girls?" And I said, "Yep." And they said, "He's in." And that's it. We went from...
That's the interview.
That was the interview. We went to a place called, what the hell was that? The Paint Room in Collinsville right afterwards, and started celebrating and drinking. And these guys were famous. I mean, like, I get out of the car, and everybody's just... I mean, I just had never seen people walk over people like this. You know what I mean? They were famous, and they were just... It's the new guy. Immediately, it was just like I belonged. It was interesting.
That didn't suck.
That did not suck. Which, you know, it was pretty crazy for me to never think I was going to find guys that wanted it like I did, but let alone it was those guys. Interesting.
Yeah, and they already were running. They were already on their way.
It's pretty incredible.
All right, so you remember that night, and do you remember the first gig?
But I will have to say, I don't think I've ever said this on tape. The main reason I was going to join the band no matter what, because I had to. It was great. It felt good, but the belonging part came from Jeff Volek, our bass player. He knew I was working, and then when I wasn't rehearsing with those guys, I was playing like 3 nights a week with that Dallas Marks. I would sleep in my car after the gig out in like White Oak, or, you know, the original Jurgles up there on Babcock, and I'd have to like bird bath it in the shoe joint goddamn bathroom.
Let's talk about the shoe
to
joint.
go to work. So I got a phone after we left, and I had a couple of drinks. Jeff called me. He got my number, and he called me while I'm driving back to Weirton that night because he knew I was tired. He just said, "Hey man, I'm gonna be up a while, so I know you got a long way. You just want to talk to? Give me a call."
That's cool.
I still get emotional thinking with that because, like, he didn't know me, and it was amazing. And my parents were in the line waiting. I remember clicking back over and saying, "Yeah, we're gonna do this." So that was it.
The shoe place.
Yeah, Iron Age.
Iron Age shoes.
Iron Age shoes, and also
sponsored.
Knapp. It was Knapp, KNAPP.
How'd you get that job?
I don't know exactly, but my aunt and my cousin Michelle were both in it before me, obviously, and I needed a job, so they welcomed me in. And I always thought I'd be good in khakis.
What did you do there?
Oh, so I wore a headset and took orders from the phone.
Okay.
You know,
I'm sorry. I have a hard time visualizing.
No, everybody does. I apparently I did too. I just took phone. I had a little headset on. He'd call, and then you have to write everything down, and that was it. And it got pretty bad during the end there. I just was like just walking around handing out catalogs to everybody, and I really wasn't doing my job. And that's when, thank God that the Hillbillies called and stuff, and it was kind of mutual. So they didn't fire me. They let me kind of go. So it was nice. It was kind of like a mutual, you know, you're not really doing well here anymore.
Well, is it because you just couldn't keep your eyes open? I mean, you're
that too. There was
constantly,
There
right?
was more than one time that I would literally fall asleep on the phone. And like you would snore and you'd hear, "Sir?" And like you're just scared. But like we had the option to hang up on them or hit mute. I would always hang up. So like, and you got judged by your call count. So like literally if I wasn't feeling it, I'd wait till they call and I'd just answer the phone and hang up. Answer the phone, hang up. And like thinking that they didn't, like an idiot I didn't think that they actually could see the timer on it, but I was just taking the calls. But no, yeah. So it was a mutual get the hell out of here.
Last show you were saying there was Matilda was calling for steel toes or something.
Well, yeah, it was some older folks. They had some Velcro situations, some orthopedics. That was the nap section, and the Iron Age was America's working men and women.
Both, though, right?
Yeah.
What was the second one?
America's working men and women. They were safety, were like metatarsals, steel toes, the whole gamut there. That was Iron Age, and then the other nap shoes was the orthopedic section. At that.
Once you folks hit it pretty good with Poverty Neck, did you ever just go back there just to say hi and just kind of?
It's gone. It's gone. The building is still there.
See what you did.
All those cubicles. Yeah, I don't think Iron Age exists anymore, and that's a shame. Good company.
So it's so unbelievable to think about you selling shoes. That to me, that's just crazy to me. We all have to do something, right? We all started somewhere, right? That's part of your.
I didn't touch feet.
Part of your. No.
The thing is, like,
they weren't coming in, and you weren't helping them at the counter.
No, which. Because like I was always a fan of Al Bundy, so I figured I'd be there anyhow. But this is a job. I think I wanted to touch feet at the time, but I got stuck into this. I'm glad I didn't. Looking back on it,
but it wasn't a walk-in environment. They was all
right.
Male.
It was corporate.
Okay. Yeah, just because Abby, did the guys rib you about that? I mean, that had to be hysterical, right?
Yeah, I mean, they laughed a lot. We had a lot of fun. Yeah.
All right, so you leave there and you're doing music full time now. That was the decision.
It was about I was pretty close to like a May 15th. I don't know what year it was, but that's when they just got the bus, an '89 Eagle, and like we're sitting on there up in Dawson checking it out, all excited, and I remember just like looking at the guys, were like, it's probably time to quit my job, and that was it, man. I was full time with those guys. We got on, we made money as a percentage, and I made a lot of money doing nothing. I mean, I partied, we did nothing. I mean, think about it. We played some music. I didn't even
of a musician.
I didn't even tune my guitar. I did nothing. It's like we just literally rode around and played music.
Well, you caught them at a good time, just when it was starting to peak, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
perfect timing. Yep.
So, what can you tell me about do you remember your first tour, your first series of road trips or dates or anything?
No,
Nothing.
No. I was drinking pretty heavy back then. It was just. I mean, I remember tidbits and stuff, but I can't remember like the first go around. I remember before we had the bus. Just the first gig I played with him was pretty scary because it was.
Where's that?
I think it was called Overtime on the Mon out near like Fredericktown. I think it was.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not, I don't think it's there anymore, but it was like this. I don't know. They had. I mean, it was incredible the lengths they'd go to put on a show. We're talking the stage, the lights, the smoke. It was like the stage was too tall, so our heads are hitting the goddamn ceiling. But I didn't care. It was all about perception, and that's where I learned that. It's like it's got to look big, whether it's big or not. You got to make it look huge, and that's what they were great at. And that's what I learned a lot from that. It was like. We played, and it was just so nerve-wracking because I was the new guy for like 3 years, and I didn't have any pictures.
They didn't let you forget that either. Probably.
Right? Yeah, but these guys, which I'd never seen before, they would do meet and greet every show, bar or not, bar, festival, fair, doesn't matter what it was, meet and greet. They were selling photos. I mean, they were the
smart
merch
business.
They were incredible, selling merch, but it was just picture those guys, and I would have to draw a little guy in a boat, a stick figure, and I had to sign that.
So you weren't on the photo,
right? I wasn't on the photo. I had to draw with a Sharpie, and some of the fans were pretty mean back then. For a good few months, they wouldn't even let me sign it because they didn't know if I was going to be sticking around.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was pretty.
Don't fuck up their collectible.
It was awkward for a long time, and then finally let me in, and it was good.
So there was the bus. Did you guys pull a trailer for equipment? Did you have a separate vehicle? How'd that work?
Yeah, I don't remember if that was immediately what we did, but certainly the last few years we were pulling a trailer. I can't remember if I'm pretty sure it was all trailer stuff.
Yeah, I would think. I mean, if you guys are putting on a decent show, there's got to be a way to get that there. I mean, did you have a separate driver?
Yeah, we had a couple of drivers, but we ended up with Buddy. He was a great driver. Sometimes he would go pee in the middle of his driving shift, put a boot on the old boot on the gas pedal, and go do it and watch the road from there. And we all stayed alive. He was awesome. See, this is a legend. I didn't wake up during this, but Abby and Jeff said they woke up and saw Buddy not at the driver's seat, but he was taking a piss in the bathroom there while the bus was forward ho. Well, I guess that's the we don't know.
Yeah, you had to be determined.
But this is just hearsay
I'm
for
hoping
me.
it's like Nebraska or Kansas they did.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean,
but no, he was great, and but he had a pretty tough job because he had to sleep while we were having a good time, and then when we were having a good time, he's coming and ruining it because we got to get going, and we're drunk, and we're pretty hard on him, but he was hard on us too. It was fun.
So how many did the bus sleep? 12?
13.
13.
Yeah.
Pretty crammed up in there?
Yeah, it was very cramped. Yeah. I don't know if I'm doing the math right. There's 3 bunks aside, and there were. No, it was just 12. 12, and then we had like 13 guys on there, but they were like sleeping on the lounge things. Yeah, but as far as beds, there was just 12 beds.
Yeah, because I have a lot of history with tour buses. Fred Koala, Freddie, he's been touring with everybody, and he pretty much tells me he's lived most of his life on a tour bus, which is horrific.
Yeah.
But he goes, you get used to it after a while, but it really is until you get used to it, it's pretty tough.
We got used to it. I mean, we were young, so it didn't matter. We were just living it, right? But I mean, I got to be honest, there's no sleep. I haven't slept since then. That generator, I missed the bus. I probably wouldn't like it as much now, but like I missed that snore.
Puts you ready to sleep.
When we would, I wasn't living, I wasn't like, I did move in to places up there around where the bus was staying at the time, but sometimes I would literally just like have them leave the generator on. I'd sleep there. And I'd hit the YMCA and go to get a shower and go do my laundry.
So you had no apartment.
I did, but it was like, why bother? It was too far away to like, it was in, I don't know, it was probably 20 minutes away.
Okay.
And it's like, sometimes we had to be back on the bus within a couple hours. So like, why bother?
Yeah.
I would sleep on there. I'd wake up, and I did it in my own place, but it was just a pain in the ass to go there. If I go to sleep somewhere else, I'm not getting back up to make it to the bus.
Sure.
So I would do that. I'd go to the YMCA, work out, shower there, go do my laundry out of my trunk and go to the laundromat. This was like an everyday thing, and then I'd go back to the bus and chill.
How far did Poverty Neck tour in your years there? How far out in the country did you go?
Well, the bus tour we did.
Texas, right? We
went all the way to Texas, but we didn't. I think we did Texas, we did Wisconsin, but we didn't hit every state. We didn't get all 50, but probably about 20, 30 states.
Okay. Did you like it?
I loved it. Yeah.
Never got old?
No, I mean the bickering got old. That's for sure. You get 13 guys on a 30-foot tube. It's like you got guys who want to fart all the time. You got guys who want to ball tap all the time. You got guys who it's just garbage. You know what I mean? So it's just you're dealing with a lot of different personalities and a lot of different shit. And then people think you're cool. So then we all think we're cool. And then each guy gets cooler depending on that. So it's a lot of bullshit. But most of the time, I got to be honest with you, just had a blast.
Yeah.
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 But there were some trying times. Don't get me wrong. There were some trying times.
Would you guys go out on spurts? I'm trying to get an arm around exactly what the scheduling was. Would you go out for a short tour here, come back and write? Like
it was mostly like we would do 5 or 6 days a week, take like a day off.
It was that scheduled then, okay.
It was scheduled, and there were sometimes it was 2 weeks, right? But like we tried to keep, if that bus wasn't moving, we weren't making any money.
Right.
So we were just always doing it, and we were I forget what year that was, but we did like 260 some dates. And it was an insane amount of.
Do you remember what the longest stretch was where you did consecutive nights?
I don't know if this is the longest one we did. The only one I remember because I was in horrific pain was like 13 days.
Ooh.
I ended up having strep throat, but didn't know I had strep throat. And I played and sang for 13 days, and like we ended it at Seven Springs, and everybody's out having a good time. And I can't close my eyes, I can't open my eyes, like I'm like bleeding from the edge. It was insane. But I sang every night. I don't know how I did it. And then once we got done, I went to a doctor and strep throat, but that was a terrible ride for me because I didn't know that I was dying. So that was like 13 days.
What's the story about you? You went on one tour and you don't remember.
Well, that was a Texas trip.
Long periods of time.
We took a friend of ours, Jay McKnight. He played bass because I guess Jeff had his honeymoon.
You guess?
Yeah, I guess that's where he was at. He was gone.
You got to catch up, Al.
Oh yeah, sorry. And yeah, and we hired him to go down there, but I don't remember that whole trip. I remember some things when we got to Texas, but I don't remember him being on there.
Don't remember him being
on the bus. Not that I have any. I like him, and I'm sure we had some fun to and fro. But like I just see Jeff. Like I guess because that was like the only time.
Yeah.
So in your mind, it's just I'm trained on that. Jeff was there the whole time. But no, he missed the whole damn trip, and I didn't know it.
Mm-hmm. Girls.
Yeah.
Every musician I've ever talked to, whether they were of any capacity, any level of success, if they were a touring musician, they say the same thing, that while they tour, it is extremely hard to maintain a regular relationship. Do you find that true?
I wouldn't know because I wasn't trying to maintain any regular relationship.
Honest, it's an honest answer.
I mean, there was a couple times I did, but I mean, for the most part, I wasn't. I was really enjoying all those fruits. It was a good time, for me. But no, I mean, now that I'm older, I can definitely see how. I think it's. I don't know how people do it, especially if you're going out that long. It's just love. It's just a lot. I don't think it's really anybody's fault other than just the time apart. I don't know what it is. And people like musicians. I don't know what the hell it is. And we like being liked. That's why we're doing it in the first place. We got some sick thing in our head.
Adulation.
That we need that. And we enjoy getting it. But no,
when you decided to play guitar as a kid, obviously you tell me your dad played and your brother played. That was the spearhead of it all. How old were you when you figured out that, girls kind of dig this?
Oh, well, pretty young. I'm pretty young at it. I mean, I got way more attention the minute I'm taking my guitar to school to play. People. So I don't know how I introduced guitar to the school world. I still didn't have any girlfriends because I was too afraid. Like I didn't even know what to do with it. I couldn't.
Yeah, you were dressing up though and being a character in the mirror, but you couldn't do it in public very well.
Still it was. Yeah, and then that's like a lot of times when I sing, I still shut my eyes pretty tight. Just like I got to try to get involved with what I'm doing, and I really don't need to see somebody going, "This guy blows," with facial. I got to stay in where you're at, but. It was pretty immediately. It's like, I think I played a gig at that Igloo Club, and I'm the designated driver. My dad's drinking. He's my agent. And I remember some stripper from the local bar 2 doors down is hanging all over me, tipping me. And I was like 15. And it was like, that was like my first memory of this is going to get weird.
That didn't suck either.
At the time it did because I was so damn nervous, right? I was so nervous.
Oh, your dad was with you.
He was just giggling. Yeah, he was drinking and giggling.
It's a magical thing, though. Music and relationships, music and the opposite sex. And I've been told by female guitar players that like men are drawn to her because I've had 2 of them tell me. It's
I can see that.
Like I think it goes both ways. I think it's just there's something about the musical connection. Would you not agree? I mean,
I would agree.
It's just too much history of it.
Too much history. I guess it has to do something. I mean, when you get to watch someone pouring their heart into it, and music is probably the easiest thing you can watch somebody do what they love to do, right? Like. It's hard to go watch someone paint, right? Mm-hmm. Art, that's great art, but it's hard to watch somebody really get into that. You usually just see what's left, right? But when you get to see live music, you're watching the whole process in front of you, and you can see them being embarrassed, you can see them being happy, you can see them making mistakes.
Interesting.
You can see the whole thing going on. And I think maybe that's probably why everybody.
And you're also hit by it. Because with music, there's emotions.
There's vibration.
There's vibration. There's crescendos. There's lulls. There's the whole thing. It's all there.
It's all there.
Yeah, it's all there.
It's very visceral. Yeah.
Talk to me about the end of Poverty Neck in terms of how related to you. How are you feeling? When did you find out about it? Did you kind of predict it was going to happen? Did you go when it happened, holy fuck, now what do I do? Like, how did it affect you?
Affect or how did it happen?
Well, both.
Because how it happened, I knew about it, and that we would have a couple secret meetings on the bus. We all knew that we were going to not do this anymore. And there was 5 of us that were going to quit, and then eventually...
Did that seem like ridiculous to you, though? I mean, I get the drama. I get all that. I understand it's out there. But the fact that it was working, you had...
See, that's what people don't understand. That's the part... that we're missing because, time glorifies things, right?
Okay.
It's been a long time since we were there. We were having a hard time. We were having a hard time booking. I don't remember exactly what the problem was. We were having a hard time playing out of town to make money, but we couldn't keep playing in town because people were getting tired of that and they didn't want to pay it. So, you can't oversaturate and you can't get out. We were having a hard time because we lost a couple management deals. We lost a record deal. He just, the guy we thought was going to be the best record producer guy, not producer, but, record company literally just folded shop in the middle of the night, gone. Left everybody he had working for him with their own personal cards.
So you're an artist with
out.
him with multiple artists.
Right. It was us, Aaron Tippin, Blackhawk. We were all on the same label.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And then this guy loved him. He all of a sudden, it was a new startup company, so he had everybody using credit cards, the personal credit cards, and then he just folded up shop and disappeared. And people got screwed, and we got stuck.
Did he ever reappear?
Yeah, I think Abby's talked to him since, but that just put it. And then the thing is, you just once you get either let go or not picked up too many times in a row, you're kind of tainted.
It's a stigma.
It's a stigma, yeah. So, and we were kind of feeling that, and we were having a hard time with, that, and of course that's when all the heads were colliding.
Yeah, and expenses, I'm sure. Still, you have the bus, you have all the things.
You got to pay everybody, and and that's where we thought some things were going on with the money that we didn't really trust, and. To this day, they never opened the books to show us. There was that kind of stuff. There was shady shit going on, and can't prove it, but we know this isn't right. And I don't care to get hashing it with anybody out there, whoever hears this. I don't want to get into it. I just know what the hell went down, and I just can't. No one can really prove it, but we know what would happen because we knew what we were making. So that gets in your head, and like once you see that, and plus, I felt I was pretty young, and I thought I had some talent to go do some other stuff. And
so you were already formulating that in your head.
Oh yeah, I was like, shit, all right, it's just music. This gave me a platform to probably go do some other stuff, right? I mean,
got it.
At least it gave me that, right?
Right.
And
that's some good memories.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. And then, but we all talked about it, and then we all knew the day we were going to do it, and an email was sent in the morning. But I won't forget that night before. I was lying in bed, and I just, I was fine up until that day. I was fine all day, and then I don't know, right on midnight, it was going to happen like 6, 7 in the morning. I forget the exact time it went out, but we all knew it when it was going out. And we're all copied on it, and like I couldn't sleep, I couldn't breathe. I knew it was a bad idea around midnight, and it was just like, it was too late for me to pull back. Plus, I didn't really want to work with just the one guy. I fell in love with the band, not one person. It all was the chemistry there, and it's like, well, what am I going to do? I don't want to just go play with him because it'll just be the same bullshit with him, with me now, other stuff, or whoever it was, doesn't matter. And then, yeah.
There really wasn't any factions because it was all you, and then it was Chris, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, Ryan, our drummer, didn't officially quit that night, so it was just me, Jeff, Abby, and Dave Kramer. We're the ones that officially quit.
Okay.
Through an email sent, and yeah.
So your drummer didn't sign it. The drummer wasn't.
No, he didn't want to be. Because he just wanted to play some more.
Understood.
Yeah,
I get it.
That's what he wanted to do. Want to keep playing, and if Chris could facilitate more gigs and obviously money, why the hell wouldn't you do it? But for some reason, we all just wanted to, and we did it that way. And and yeah, I mean, looking back on it, don't know if I'd have done it again. Probably would have. Yeah, you're young, you're stupid. But all I know is that I couldn't sleep. It was awful.
You don't regret it though.
I don't regret it. I kind of maybe regret how we did it. And I kind of regret my work ethic after it. I didn't get my shit together after that. So there's regrets involved around it and in between it, but I don't regret quitting the band, that's for sure.
Let's say that didn't happen. What's your best estimate of what would have happened going forward over the next 24 months?
A lot of the same.
If the prior was an indication of where you were headed, all the stuff going on, what would the next 24 months would look like?
I think it would have looked less glorious, right? I think us just disappearing one night and quitting, I think was the faster way to go than to burn out slowly. I think that's where we were headed. The anger was getting upset. Like the anger was really boiling over as far as, because there were 3 heads of the band. There was Dave, Abby, and Chris were the guys that made all the decisions, right? So if 2 or 3 of those guys can't talk to the other guy, then where's this going to end up? There was fist fights. There was all kind of dumb shit that went on that didn't have to go on. And then we're taking these attitudes to the show. Right now it's easy to see we're not getting along. Easy to see when we don't give a shit anymore. Right?
So that was visible from the audience standpoint?
I've heard it from a lot of people.
Interesting.
Yeah. I heard it from a lot of my friends, my family, just strangers. You guys don't seem like you get along with him. And it's like, well, and that's not good for anybody. And we did that a lot. And he was terrible at it too. When he was upset, he was separate from all of us. It was about that time, and I think it would just blew up and been worse looking.
So maybe it just ran its course, right?
I think so. I just think so. I don't have a regret that we did it, and I think that's the way we should have done it. Like as far as we should have blew it up. I think sometimes things are better looking back on it when you just blow it up. You let it burn out, and everybody ends up fighting with each other in this long, stupid drama. I think that sucks. I'll take this.
Okay. Do you have any reservations, or I hate the word regret, but do you look back on it and say, you know what, we had opportunities to do some reunion stuff and we didn't do it? Do you regret any of that?
I can't regret something that I couldn't make happen. So I have no regrets. I tried everything I tried.
Regret's a funny word. I probably shouldn't use that word, though.
But
would you wish those opportunities might come to fruition?
Well, this is my side of things, and this is exactly what happened. We were going to do a reunion. Everybody was in to do a reunion. Not Chris, because we weren't going to ask him. I said, I'm not doing a reunion unless it's a reunion. I don't know if they know what that word means. We all get back together and play a show. One show. That means Chris, Crafty, all of us together.
Sure.
One night. That's it. We don't have to rehearse. We don't have to. We don't. We know the songs. We just show up and play. No one's got to be hobnobbing with each other. We don't have to if we don't want to. Or, hey, we could. We go do it. We can all make a lot of money. We can all make some people happy. We can make ourselves happy.
And see what happens.
We can try to mend. There's no sense of being upset with somebody or mean, I don't think there's any rage or any, anything, anger anymore. But I bet it's an unhappy thought for some people.
Sure.
Of the guys in the band, but it's somewhat of a dark spot on their memory of it, and it's like we could probably patch that part up and just move on. We don't, like I said, one show a year. That's all we got to do. And apparently everybody reached out, and I'm not sure if I reached out because I kind of thought everybody else was doing the job, and like I think too many hats in the ring are kind of like annoying, So I thought Abby was the guy that had to kind of do that, him or Dave, and there was talks. But I'm not saying Abby's lying or anything like that, but I'm just saying all I know is what Abby and Dave told me or what Ryan says. I don't know because I never talked to Chris. But all I know that there was a lot of money involved, that he wouldn't do it for this, and then eventually he just kind of backed out of it. And at that point, I was like, well, fuck that. We're still going to do it. Right? I was kind of pissed off. And I still think we shouldn't have done it because it's not a reunion. And it's like, it's kind of that's another wasted shot. You know what I mean? It's like putting the ball up in the air and swinging and just missing. And you knew you were going to miss. You knew you were going to miss. Yeah. And it was like, and that's what it was to me. And then, then we got like a small record deal before we even played the show. So then we ended up doing that. And then then it's fast and furious when it happens and decisions start making. And you got Dave and Abby. It doesn't matter who, it's not them. It's people just take control and they're good at it or they're bad at it. And they get going and then things just start moving down the line. And then in 6 months, you don't know what the hell you even signed up for and what you're doing now. All of a sudden, we're recording Nashville again. All of a sudden, we got song. All of a sudden, we got a band together. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, didn't even expect this. You know what I mean? It's like, here we are. And the same problems we had back then about, not talking to each other. It's like, that's the first time we all saw each other together. We did a commercial for the MTA, for Monaga. I don't know. It's some damn bus line, Monongahela. The transit. Monaga Transit. Anyway, we did a bus. And then all of a sudden, we're hearing what they've already decided on. It's like, the first time I see you guys, you already tell me what I'm going to do when you had the phone, where here we are again, we're just right fucking head first and everything without anybody's say, or at least not mine. Got it. And not, just not that I wouldn't have done it anyhow, but the fact that like, that's just how this shit goes. Bands are just very, I would imagine like a company is. It's just, once whoever takes those reins.
Oh, I think it's harder for bands. I think
it's incredible.
With most companies, most somewhat well-run companies, they have some kind of structure. I mean, there's formality.
Yeah.
With the band, oftentimes, there's very little, if any.
It's the guy who has the most gumption. And it's his ideas.
Pretty much.
That's it. This guy has a work ethic. And again, I'm not bitching and complaining. I'm just saying, but like, once again, I was in a spot where I thought I gave up. Mm-hmm. Thought it was all going to be, and I get it. You can't have 5 chiefs. You can't. You just can't have it all, and you got to give it all to somebody. But like before we had the conversation, people just take it and run with it. And I was like, oh man, here we are again. But I'm still not mad we got back together or anything like that.
Right.
But it was just like, I won't forget that moment in that garage going, Jesus, here we are again. And I'm going to do it again.
Do you think there's still a want for an original reunion? I mean, out there.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, there's got to be a time where it's over. Not like we had a number 1 record on the radio. Not like, anybody, if you're not in Pittsburgh, you really don't know about it unless you're in the music industry in Nashville, like the very small crowd. And like, as years go by, people forget that shit too. So, up here it'd be nice, but I don't know if it would be something largely enjoyed, but I would still do it. And again, I only want to do it, of course, if it is a reunion. And I'm not
real reunion.
Yeah. And I'm not going to reach out and do all that stuff. Like, he knows what we want to do. And it's just stupid to even, we should just all get together and play
ego. If the money was good, the only thing I could say is ego, right?
You tell me what it is, because I don't know. I don't know what it is. Because I can't see any reason not to get back together with a bunch of old friends and play 90 minutes.
Play music that was appreciated by a shit ton of people, and you guys had fun doing it.
Right.
Yeah, no, I get that.
No, I do in a heartbeat, and I obviously think we do. I mean, I think people would show up for it. Don't get me wrong. I think people show up for it, but it's like, I'm tired of worrying about it because it's like nobody else seems to care about it. Like the people who are involved.
Right.
I'm tired of the would haves, the should haves, the could haves. It's either, hey, I'm alive. We're all still alive.
Yeah.
We're lucky to have that. So let's get the fuck back together or don't. You know what I mean? I don't want to do it. Well, you
want to do it half-assed.
Yeah. Let's just do it or let's just don't do it. I don't get it. But like when you talk about it, then you get that little fire started in folks, and especially the guys in the band. And then you're thinking, oh, it'd be nice. Yeah, everything would be nice. But it's kind of up to him.
And the great thing about it is you've got friends on both radio stations in this town, country stations, and there's a hell of a lot of people that are now, removed from that for 10, 12 years now, and 13 years, and that's about the time things start swinging back around again. You know, they might have kids now and families and all that, but they'd come back out to party, have a good time.
You know, I won't lie to you.
I could see where it could be
within this year of 2019
advantageous. You know,
I've re-downloaded the records of the old stuff because we were putting the band back together. I want to hear what it used to sound like. You know what I mean? And sometimes it'll just pop on. I immediately know it's my shitty guitar and it's our shitty old sound, and we're just all trying to learn together. I immediately hear all that, but if I don't shut it off within 20 seconds, I'm singing along going, man, this shit is catchy and it's good. And it makes me happy. And I can see why it made everybody else happy. But and it's nice. So I would not mind playing. Right. That's why it's nice to play these songs in THW. It's a great time.
I honestly believe, and I've said it I've told Abby, I've told both of you together, I'm going to tell it again tonight, that there is an audience out there for it. And if all the pieces would get back together and do it, I think that not only would you be able to play some gigs immediately to pretty packed houses and to go, but I think that if you all could get along, I think that there's possibility of something really happening there from a regional perspective.
Right. I just think that if the best we're ever going to get, if we get it, would just be a show or two a year. I don't really see that anybody wants to do this
something
together. Oh no, that'd be great. But as far as getting back together, I wouldn't really want to do that. Mm-hmm. But I certainly would like to go out and play some of these damn songs and have a good time with the guys who
in THW though. You folks do not have the string accompaniment, right? Was there a decision when you? I mean, I know there was some time before you and Abby formed THW. There was a gap between the end of Poverty Neck and that.
Yeah.
But did it ever cross your mind to get a fiddle player, to get a
It never
string?
crossed my mind. I don't want it.
Okay.
We don't want it. No, but saying that, we had it. So we had Chris, and then when we got THW at the end, we had John Parendo playing fiddle, and he's a great fiddle player. It was great. And then he ended up quitting. And it's just like, that's not the,
doesn't resonate with you.
Not me. I've never been a fiddle guy or a violin guy. I mean, I like it I like it when it works, but it doesn't work for every song in my opinion, and I don't want to hear it all the time. But I do know as a listener, as like a layman or someone who comes out to a show, some reason that thing's fascinating to them. That's a fascinating instrument, and they love that. But I don't care. I just don't want it. Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe on a record when it fits the song, that's what you need. I do it, but I mean, I have no real love affair for the fiddle, if you know what I'm saying. So, and I don't think Abby did either.
Is that because I can't speak for Abby, but I'm going to throw this at you. Is that because that inside you there's a good element of rock and roll in you?
Well, yeah. I mean that rock and roll side comes out every day I get older. The more I like.
Every time you pick the guitar up and play, I hear it.
I think AC/DC all day long. Like that's the baddest band. It's just awesome. As far as I don't know, but yeah, no. I mean, I just love everything. I mean, I'm such an old country fan, but for some reason, I don't want to hear it anymore. I think maybe it'll come back around for me, but it hasn't yet.
Outside the Jethro Tull, I don't know of any rock and roll band that
Piccolo
has it. So. Well, they had the fiddle in some of their songs too. Yeah, I think. Don't quote me. I'm saying no, but I mean that's not rock and roll. And I think you're really that weird kind of animal as a player when I see you, because I understand your history and your background, your love of country music. I get all that. But there is that element of rock player in you, whether you acknowledge it, whether you even think about it. And I'm not the only person that says this. It comes across. So I get it why you don't want to fucking fiddle on your stage.
Right. I don't want it. And it's so weird. I don't think I've ever said this before, but just like you said about my history, my background, and there were times I'd like to sit down and like want to write a song that sounded like Dwight Yoakam or sounded like old country music.
Right.
It's not in me. Just because I love it doesn't mean I can facilitate its needs.
Got it.
I can only play the way I play. I only hear it. I only feel it one way, and it's so weird. It was always upsetting to me. It's like, man, I really love this style of music, but I can't get in it. I can't find myself in the middle of it. All that comes out is just whatever the hell this is. And I find that very interesting. It's like what I want to do, I can't do, so I just try to do the best I can at what I can get across, and that's weird to me. It's weird to me.
Okay, that's fair. That's very fair. Talk about the creative process now as opposed to Poverty Neck. Naturally, you had more folks. There was an orchestration with the fiddle added to that at all. What's the big differences writing between 2000 and maybe 5 to 2008, 9, and today?
Well, I guess for me, it's the lack of writing. I haven't done I haven't put pen to paper or guitar. I mean, I write every time you play. I guess you can say that, but I don't. I haven't written a song in many years. Time, inspiration, life, jobs. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but I haven't written a song. I want
lyrically.
to. Yeah, lyrically.
But have you written music?
I mean, every time I pick up a guitar, I play something different or similar but different. I mean, yeah, you can categorize that as writing, but I don't. I consider something you're putting when you're recording it enough down so you can remember it and then elaborate on it. To me, that's writing, not just popping something out, because I'm not the kind of writer like I can find something I like here, but I'm going to need time to figure out the rest of it, or I never get back to it. I got a bunch of voice memos on here of nothing, and some are pretty good, but I've never finished one. I probably haven't finished a song in like since maybe 08.
Wow.
9 maybe.
Is there any incentive to lay down an album now?
Yes, I have so much incentive. The time, I know people, entrepreneurs, all that bullshit, that you got to do all this stuff. But I like the job I got now, which I don't really want to talk about. It's very, very time. It's almost 12 hours a day.
Sure.
And I just don't have. Obviously, I'm not healthy as I like to be. I need to get back. But I'm in that vicious cycle at this age and this time in my life where it's like, you get up, go to work, eat like shit, go back to bed, get up, go to work, eat like shit. Yeah, I want to do all this stuff. I have all these thoughts and I got these ideas, and I know that I'm meant to be in this business. Sure. And I just I haven't found that leg up inside me to get going. But no, man, that's all I think about. I got a little studio at the house. I just the thing is, with the studio, if you take a week off when you're not that good at it, and every time you go back, you have to start from fucking scratch again. You're looking at the shortcuts, you're trying to figure out how to even add a new track.
Understood.
But so I have all these plans, but I never kind of get to them.
Time is definitely an obstacle, right?
Yeah.
And age and fatigue and the whole thing that goes with that. Monetarily, obviously, you are not doing it for the money. I mean, you're not doing, at this point in your career, you're not playing music for the money.
I wish I could say I was, but no.
But and again, I'm a capitalist, so I have no problem anyone doing anything for money. I mean, I get it. If you create something great and people love it, you should be paid for it. That's my opinion. But I also get the concept of doing it because you love it. I totally get that. And if you feel like it has to come out of you. So when you're playing so many gigs, and I know you like to play live, I would think that the other part of that, though, would be the creative part. And you say you're not doing that, so are you getting enough of that in improvisation while you play live?
No.
You're not getting that?
No, me and Abby literally just had this conversation probably 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
As a player, I've regressed in so many ways as far as, we only play the same, I don't know how many songs we do a night, but we do the same set, give or take a few tunes, right? We might swap a couple out here and there, but we're doing the same set, and we're running tracks which is not, it's not a bad thing. I'm saying we're running some tracks, so a lot of stuff's in there. So you're basically you only have your parts you got to play because you got to fit in, right? Now you're basically playing to a record all night long, trying to make sure that your part fits in and you get mixed up there and it sounds good. So you really only there's no real improv. And my style is all improv, right? So
absolutely.
I only learn what I got to learn so what the hell the song is. And then so maybe the first solo will be more like the record, right? And then I'll do whatever the hell I want to do on my time after it, right? So that's what I always do. It's probably what I always do, I got no problem with that. And, but I only have so many off because it's not a jam band. You can't just shut off the tracks or the click and then we just start playing. That part of improv in the creative process in this band is not there.
Is that different from Poverty Neck?
Poverty Neck, yeah. We had a click track in our ears, but we weren't running any other shakers. We would just listen to a click that only we could hear, so we would stay on.
So that's different then.
Right, so different. So we could extend a song for 20 minutes if we wanted to. We could do 2 choruses here if we thought it was going well. We didn't want to end. We could just have, Chris would play fiddle for, 20 minutes, it felt like, just because people were into it. We were laughing and joking. That freedom we had in that band isn't the same. We don't have much freedom in this.
Is it more fun then, live?
Well, yeah, but I mean, we're also really young, and we're also really doing something none of us ever done before. We were kind of setting Pittsburgh on fire. It was pretty insane. There was a lot to why that was more fun.
Okay.
But obviously, I like to play music. So I have a side project that we haven't played in a while. It's called the Junior in the West Virginia Push. And that is all. It's some of my favorite musicians in the world. We don't practice, never have. We get together. I send them a set list, which is 400 pages. No, it's 6 pages of songs, right, with the keys that I do them in. And we just go, and I'll holler them out.
And why aren't you doing that?
Well, time is one of them. And then obviously Jeff, our bass player, he got injured.
Right.
And I really don't want to.
He was in that band with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I really don't want to do it without him.
How's he doing?
Well, I just recently talked to him, and he's doing well. I just think he's I think he's emotionally drained. It's a lot of work to get yourself rehabbed back.
Rehab's very difficult.
All right, I'm sure that, we didn't talk about this, but I'm sure, I don't know if he's working, I don't want to bring that kind of shit up. So I'm sure he's having a hard time through it all. He's got kids and a family, and he's got that new problem with his, I don't know, he's having a hard time concentrating a lot. And he wants to play music, and that's killing him. I could imagine if I lost my finger, my arm in a wreck, what the hell,
Absolutely.
what am I going to, not that he can't play, but right now he's not able to come back and feel good about it, right? So that's gotta hurt hell, and I don't know how to help him.
Sure.
And it sucks, not that he wants help, and just him that's gotta suck. And I also, not that there's not great bass players out there. There are. There's a lot of ones I want to work with, but to me, that's that band. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a big part
That's
of it.
the push, yeah. So without that, then I would call it something different or find some other guys, but it's I'm just kind of waiting on Jeff for that. Which I shouldn't wait. I get it. But it's something.
Starting a band's hard.
That's why I'm not trying to start a band. That's the best part about this band. Ain't no band. We call the guys.
It's a collection of stuff.
Yeah, you open? Yeah. All right. You call the gig, get some money, line up, you go play, and you literally have the best three and a half hours of your life. I mean, it's so much fun because it's so liberating to play whatever the hell you want. And the fact that everybody that we've chosen to play with us can just hang in there, right? It doesn't matter where this thing's going, and if you make a mistake, we go with you or we don't, and it's just fun. No one's upset at the end of the evening.
No stress.
No stress. It's such a good time. So I do miss that. But Abby and I were talking about doing some other things as well together. I don't want to get involved in that conversation right now, but we have some plans in the near future to get some sort of scratch that itch ourselves. You know what I mean? We both like old country songs. We both like some stuff like that. It'd be great to get together and maybe do some of that. We both play acoustic shows a lot, so that's fun, right? Because you get to really create and make stuff up.
I think you two should be doing more of those.
We don't really do them a lot anymore. We literally spend a lot of time. We should do that a little more. It's just difficult because how we both need to hear stuff. Abby is not. He's always just needs it to be really loud. But then, when he's loud, then I can't hear, so I need it to be loud. So it's this big fighting, it's this big mess of and it's not really anybody's fault except it's kind of our fault. We need to do it. We'd probably have to go on ear monitors and have to make it a thing.
You take a sound guy with you.
Well, we had that before. We'd have to have the whole ear rack. I think for us to do it correctly and to be good at it and not be upset at the end of every night and goddamn you, fight with each other. I think we would do that way.
As friends for both of you and as fans of you both, I will tell you, selfishly for me, that when you're not playing together, something's lost there because you two have something. And I don't have to tell you. I'm hoping you feel it. I'm hoping you feel it. There's that little intangible thing. And again, I look at it critically because, of course, I'm a guitar nut, but I also played a little bit. So I'm looking at I watch everything. There's just something special between the two of you live.
I agree.
That is hard to find.
I agree. We did the year we broke up, we did, I don't know, 100 and some shows acoustic together called J&A Acoustic. We played a lot together, but it was basically it was probably the most fun I've ever had because we were basically the Smothers Brothers. He was a straight guy and I would fucking make fun of him all night and it worked. He'd be pissed off sometimes at the end of the night, but it's I get it, but it's this is how we work well together, and it was fun for all of us. It was fun for the crowd. We got to play the songs together we want. If he didn't know a song, I could probably play the damn thing, so we could really facilitate a lot of requests and just have a good time together. So maybe this year we should try to.
Have you ever had the desire to go play rock and roll? Set it to a rock and roll. Has there ever been a thing you just said, you know what, I'm gonna get this project together and just go play some rock and roll for a little while?
No, but I certainly would. I'd never. No, because when you're playing, at least when I'm playing country music, I'm doing it all, right? So I don't care if it's rock or country or rap. If I enjoy it and we can make it work, I'm gonna play it for you. But no, I've never really thought about getting something like that together. But I certainly would because that's fun.
There's so much more modern musical effects and sounds in THW than Poverty Neck, right?
I don't think they even had them.
Well, there was a little bit of production. It was a little glossy.
It's just right? It's just where this world has come to. It's country is everything now. Country is literally the melting pot. It's America of music. It's got everything in it. It's not a real genre to me. The new modern country music is just. And there's a few guys I enjoy who I think still are keeping it, who are evolving with it and keeping it right. Like John Party, I think he walks the line better than anybody else. I think he walks the line between traditional to fun and new and what's exciting on the other side of that door. I like that. There's other guys too, they escape me right now, but I think that in most part, it's just like Taylor Swift isn't really country anymore, but I don't care. I still like what she does. But it's like they're just throwing that all in one thing now, and I think that's kind of the problem that a lot of folks have, and they want to fight for the traditional country music or the Garth Brooks days. It's like, well, I mean, maybe there should be a genre, maybe there shouldn't. But country music is just everything. It's pop, it's rap, that's what it's become. So it's hard to identify, in my opinion.
Do you like that, or do you not like that?
A lot of it I like. I don't like it all. Like a lot of it I like is, again, if it makes me move, cry, or happy, I'm okay with it. I like it. And if I want to hear it again, I want to hear it again. I don't care if you don't like it, right? I got the song, her name's Abby Anderson. It's a girl song. It's called A Guy Like You. And it's, for me, I bounce around all day giggling it. A guy like you. I love it. It makes me excited. But I think everybody I played it for can't stand it there. But I don't care. I enjoy the song. You know what I mean?
What do they call that? They call that your guilty pleasure. They call it, what's that called? Guilty pleasure, I guess. I don't know.
Yes.
I got one of those. You're going to laugh harder at mine, probably. There was an actress who tried to be a pop star. Tyron, somebody. She was, I think she was in that Orange and Black thing or sitcom. And anyways, she was this interesting looking, attractive actress coming out of the 2000s. Tyron, it'll come to me. She had this one hit. And I guess it didn't sell. It got a little rotation on the music video, but I heard it one time. Tyron Manning, is that her name? Tyron Manning. I don't know. Look it up.
I will. It's not really.
But this one song she put out, and it was a very much pop element of the song. There was just something about the song. It just drove me nuts. Now maybe it was her, maybe it was the song, but that was my. I get it. So what you're saying is, if something resonates with you,
right,
it's valid for that reason alone.
Right.
You don't owe an explanation to anybody.
No, you don't. I can write any song you want me to, right? I'll give you any of my songs. I'll produce them for you. And if you'll play them 40 times a week, or maybe even 25 a day, like they're doing with like the stuff, I guarantee you'll be singing them too and digging them, right?
It's a racket.
I don't think it is a racket. It's like, I don't think it's all like because the song's great. I don't hear there's many of those songs that hear them the first time, you don't like them. They have to be like that Knockin' Boots. Give me a break, guy. Luke Bryan. That's cool. And then people will say, yeah, but it's making him a lot of money. That's great, but it sucks. But all of a sudden, 2 months later, here I am knocking boots in my car. Knocking boots. Not because it's a good song.
Because you've heard it so many times. And you're a musician, you can't help it.
Well, I mean, everybody feels that way, I think. I mean,
yeah, you're getting beaten down.
Getting beaten down.
I mean, we had this conversation about
that's what we need. We need
Mariah Carey's Christmas song. Anywhere you go,
here's the thing.
You're to sing damn song every. I mean, come on.
It is a good song, but the thing is,
it? Or are you just used to hearing it?
Yeah, it's probably that. It's probably the latter. But like what we need, I think, is a radio revolution. I know Spotify and YouTube and all these people are doing it, but again, it's still bought by advertising. It's still this, and like you need to have that. It's like no one's really got a platform out there that anybody cares about that we can go and hear it on the radio. I mean, XM radio does a good job, but still, XM radio has. Like all radio has now, they have the catalog of every song in the goddamn universe. Yet they play 40 a day.
Yeah, it's all being curated based upon listener expectations.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
but it's bullshit. I mean, but then you got the other side. You got Garth Brooks channel or the Kenny Chesney No Shoes. I don't want to. No one wants to hear half of that. Like, you know, I mean, it's either the same 40 or it's all Jamaican songs on the Kenny Chesney channel.
Man.
It's incredible.
So things that piss me off about radio, you see if you agree. Number one, I can't stand the fact that they spin the records a little faster. Things don't always sound the same. They're trying to cut more songs in a space. They do it with advertisements too. It isn't just the ad guys like me. You guys pay for it too because they spin it faster. And sometimes if they don't do it right, it doesn't sound right.
But I like it for this one reason only, because if you're lucky enough to have a song be sped up, this means you're getting played on the radio, and that's exciting news. That's cool. That's a
rite of passage then?
Yeah, that's cool because that's why your song sounds different than the one that just got played over there. That doesn't sound like it was on the radio because it doesn't. Now it does. Now that's cool to me.
Interesting.
Right? That's the first time you hear your song on the radio, it sounds different. They compress it harder so they get it louder. It's like,
did you notice that right away? Even like back in the 2000s?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's always been like that. The fight, that's what mastering is. That's what the whole fight is. That's why you're paying these guys the most money possible to get that song louder and hotter without distorting and sound beautiful. That's their job to do that with ones and zeros. And they're fighting every day, and whoever does it best and gets it hotter, and like that's how they make more money. That's incredible. And to me, as an artist, that's what I want. Whatever money we got, give it to that guy, because I want mine to be louder than Tim McGraw's next fucking song. That's the whole point. And that's what you want. It's just what the radio commercials. That's why the TV commercial. I'm glad it's the FDA, or what do you call that? What's it? The company? FCC. They had to stop that because like they were just getting way too loud. Now there's only, you know what I mean? But still, it's still hitting the same dB level, but for some reason with mastering, everything sounds louder and bigger.
So Madonna had, this goes back a ways, but the late 80s, early 90s, there was something called Q sound. It all started with Q sound.
Okay.
And it was some technology that made everything just volume in your face. And I think one of her albums was the first one. You can look that up. It's called Q Sound. That's where all this shit started. And you had guys like George Marino, master at Sterling Sound, and you had, I want to say, Rupert Hines and Bob Ludwig, these famous producers, these masters. They increased the volume so much that I thought it was a lot back in the 90s, but listening to those tracks now, that's still nothing compared to what it's like now.
Right.
I mean, you're almost being assaulted.
Yeah. Oh, you are. But now our ears are so used to being assaulted,
I guess
we want more.
I guess so, though. But radio, but there's think it's always been that way. I mean, we were laughing the other night. There's a song called "Clap for the Wolfman." Wolfman Jack. Your dad probably would remember this.
I've heard of him.
He was a big DJ in the 70s, and the joke was in this actual song that was about him. It was "Clap for the Wolfman. He's going to spin your record high." So payola's always been around. They lie that it's not. The government pretends like it isn't there.
Right, but it looks the
it's
other way.
Always been there, man.
Always. It's never going to end.
And it's no different now. The production's different. They're jamming more stuff in a short period of time now, and I'm sure it's all digital. And I get all that, but it's still the same racket, man.
Mm-hmm. Same game.
You know. And it's
I mean, and nothing against anybody making money doing it. Like that's great that they're doing it, but I think it's just the problem that you and I have is both on a molecular level. Like it sucks.
It sucks.
It sucks because you can't. And the whole thing is some people's music that they want to get on there sucks, right? You just can't let any Tom, Dick, and Harry put out a goddamn song, guitar's out of tune, but their mom and dad said it sounded good, so it belongs on the fucking radio. It doesn't. Right? There is that too.
Right.
So there does need to be some sort of
just pay for play.
Right. It needs to be some, but I mean, again, you couldn't pay enough to get a bad song on the radio, like a bad recorded song.
You want to bet?
Well, I mean, they all sound clean.
The volume is jacked. I think
the volume is jacked. The musicians sound good. You know what I mean? Like, it's,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's that part of it.
There's a level of acceptability there. Yeah.
So that's good. Kind of.
But there's just country music is so prevalent. With pop stations, which I rarely listen to, but I put them on occasionally. It's all rap stuff. And as soon as I hear that, I mean, some rap, I get it, but most of it is just nothing I can sit through 10 minutes of it. So I dismiss that. But I try to go toward country because there's a guitar in there and so forth. Good classic rock stations are all the stuff I've heard a billion times.
Right.
There's nothing new there,
right?
Unfortunately. Right, because the new rock never gets there. It never gets on there.
Tell you what, though, those, I think they're called the Hot Guys.
Uh-huh.
You know them? That's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, there's good stuff.
I don't. I'm pretty sure it's new.
Yes.
It sounds great on TV, and it's like that's been really. That's cool. I like that.
You familiar with the Common Heart?
I'm not.
I had Clinton Clegg, his band, the Common Heart, on here. Definitely something you will check out. Yeah, there's a whole lot going on there. They're like a 9-piece. The vocals are incredible. It's good stuff.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But there is good stuff in this region, this Pittsburgh region. There is. Why is there no longer? I won't say no longer. There seems to be a de-emphasize of local artists on not just country, on rock too.
See, you don't
see
that? I don't
that?
agree with you because I don't think it's ever been emphasized.
There was more of it.
I don't know.
Unless you guys actually broke through so well that it gave the appearance that there was more of it.
Maybe. I mean, I think maybe that one band did it, right? I think as far as that one band, the Clarks and Poverty Neck was able to get through the country stations.
They were.
Right, but not everybody was, right? It probably had to be something special or whatever like that, or good. I don't know what exactly what it was, but it's like, even in Poverty Neck, like until we got played on the radio and other cities started liking our songs and liking our shows, nobody liked us back here. Right? It's like you're never a hero in your hometown until Detroit likes you.
Interesting.
Right? Like our song, we're cranking up on the charts. Now, I don't look at all the charts. I don't know how much Froggy's playing compared to, but we're getting played in like Florida and all across the country to people who don't know us.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But we could really use those spins from people who do know us to kind of push us up
you
the
would
top.
think.
That's what we need. We kind of need, but people who don't know us just like the song on their merit, basically. They They've played it, heard from someone else, they're playing it. I'm not saying they're not playing the song, and like, we're lucky to have anything we got, because, Christ, there's people out there who might watch this podcast and say, Christ, I'd love to get a spin on the goddamn radio, right? So like, I don't want to sound like some entitled fuck, but my point is, it's like, you know, we always all want more, and I like just know what we can do, just like you asked, what do you do to get more? And, you know, it's a deep, dark mystery to me, because we could use it, but who the hell couldn't use it?
Yeah, and again, I'm not a program director.
Well, right,
I
but
don't
also
play one on TV. I don't even know how that works.
record label money. I'm not sure. Like, we all talk about payola. I mean, obviously, it's not legal.
Where is the record money? Where is the record company money anymore?
Don't
right?
know. But either way, there's money being passed around somehow, some way that
that's
can't
my
afford.
point too. You know, we've talked about it in prior shows too, and you and Abby have been very, very not contrite. You've been very forthcoming in watching it all erode. Not that you guys ever were in the. You guys did not exist in the good times for artists.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But even from the time you started in the early 2000s, late 90s, the compensation for artists has eroded significantly to the now where I had Frizzy on, the rapper Frizzy, and I slipped and I said, you know, is music now disposable? And I hate to say that. And I told him, he goes, no. He goes, hey, say it. I could write something that I think's amazing, and I could play it at a club, or I could do this and that, and people could bounce to it, and then people are playing in their cars, but in the end, it's disposable. I'm not being compensated for it. So I guess my question is, if an artist is not going to get really compensated for the creativity, just basically the live show, if they're lucky, right?
If they're lucky.
Then won't creativity eventually stop? The exposure to the public gets from new artists and new work, won't it eventually stop at some point if there's nothing in it for the artist? Now, I had an artist like I had Mia Tarducci sit here, and she goes probably not. And we were talking about music a little bit, because again, visual art that she does is subjective, right? And she's very successful. But she goes, I understand it's also very subjective. She goes, no, it's in there. It has to come out. It'll always come out. Whether it's visual arts, whether recording arts, musicianship, whatever it is.
There's money, where there's not.
Right, that's her take on it. Do you feel the same way?
I do feel the same way. I see where you're playing the other side of it. I get that, but I just don't think music on your smallest level here is something that is so emotional to you. Whether you hear it and gotta spill it, or you just need to keep hearing it, like you're always going to be looking for it and you're always going to be trying to do it. And I just think that that starts when you're young, sometimes when you're old, but that kind of vibration, like we talked about before, the visceral sound of music or any art, once you're into that, I don't think you could ever stop doing it. Like, I don't hardly get paid for shit I do, but I still want to go out and play. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Even when I'm at home with my mom and dad's house and all I'm getting is, free beer and liquor and food. Guess what I'm doing?
That's good stuff, though.
I'm trying to play my best shit. I'm trying to make somebody cry. I'm trying to make someone laugh. I'm trying to get a pat on the back. I'm trying to do the better I did than the week before.
Got it.
And so are they. We're all trying to do something. We all want to show that we're, growing and getting better, and we love what we're doing. So it's not really work. You know what I mean? When people say you work hard, I've been told I worked hard, but it's like it never really felt like work.
Yeah, if you love what you do.
That's what they say, but that's the only time. That's the only thing I've ever liked to do. So it's like people always say, what do you do for a hobby? Well, that's my hobby. It just kind of turned into a job. I don't do anything else. I don't want to fish. I don't want to hunt. I want to play music. I want to listen to music. I want to get drunk and hear music. I want to talk about music. I want to get in debt over music. I love everything about music, and that's it.
It's not a bad life.
I enjoy it.
That's not a bad life.
I enjoy it.
So there's a huge element of luck involved in this process. I mean, if you have to say the big derivative, the determining factor of whether or not you get a hit record or you don't, the biggest thing, even beyond talent, it has to be luck. It has to be. It has to be. Positioning, opportunity, all that stuff that comes together.
Right, which is all hard work because you got to get out of bed. And that's hard for people to do sometimes. You got to get the hell out of bed. I mean, just because you do it so easy.
Assumption, yeah, you have to do that.
Right, but a lot of people don't even get out. Like, they don't, like, there's this line in a Van Zant song. You know who the Van Zant brothers are?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, it was one of the greatest. I don't know why.
I can show you a picture of them in the Boogie Street office right the time I met you.
I don't know why those guys only made one record, because it was a great record.
They were great.
And
you don't know my Van Zant story? Finish this and I'm going to tell it to you.
There's a line on one of their songs that says, I got a guitar under my bed, but I've been too afraid to fly. Like, I've peaked and I had a good time, and I've seen a lot of things people won't get to see. I'm the lucky, few of they got to do that kind of stuff. I want to do it again, but it's like, if you don't get up and work every day to go do it, there's sometimes like in the years that I've quit that band, my work ethic or me being able to get out of bed or at least get out of bed and go do something productive towards the love that I have, well, hasn't been there. So it's like, yeah, you have to get out of bed. Like, it is hard work to do all that because there's always a part of it you hate, right? Like, I don't like the business part of it, right? Some guys love it. They're not good at the other part of it. There's, there's always something about the job you're gonna cringe to go do, and like you don't want to get out of bed to go do it because it sucks. But the other part, you can't sleep the night before you're ready to go do it, right? So I mean, no matter what it is, you still got to get the hell out of bed. You still got to be there. You got to be. I was talking to a friend of mine.
You have to do it.
I was talking to a friend of mine, Donnie. We call it, not always. We call each other a good bit, and we bitch. Donnie Barney is a local musician, and he actually watched the full episode of this. So shout out to Donnie for making it the whole way.
Shout out to Donnie, baby. Absolutely.
And but he was talking about how. I forget where I was going. This was a good conversation.
Well, no, we were talking about you still have to get up and do the work.
Yeah, and he's like, what I've noticed, he goes, because he was a big fan of ours. He's like good, I don't know, 6-7 years younger than I am, maybe 10. And he said that all he did was he started coming at an early age and started hanging around. All of a sudden, you guys break up, and now I'm guitar teching for Chris Higbee. Right. So me just hanging around and being annoying eventually got less annoying, and then I was useful.
Right.
And he goes, that's just it. And it's like,
passion.
Even no matter what you do, you got to hang around.
It's passion.
You got to hang around the people you want to be like. And it's like, you got to go do that now. It's nerve-wracking and it sucks because you don't want to be the tool on the side, jerking off watching the show. But you got to get out there and do it. And sometimes just hanging around is what you got to do.
It's called paying your dues too.
Yeah, but like you're gonna be paying them all your life. It's never gonna. That's the thing. It's never at the end of it. You don't get a bill or receipt for the dues you paid just because I've paid them doesn't mean I ain't got more to pay. You're just always gonna be paying them damn dues.
That album for the Van Zandt Brothers, 2007, 2008, I think it was. There was that one country record they did. They went on a tour. And they ended up at Froggy Radio, and Danger said, "Hey, come down to Van Zandt's." I'm like, "With the Van Zandt's?" Now, again, I don't listen to country music, right? Because they did a country record, Johnny and Donnie, right? Mm-hmm. Donnie was in 38 Special, I think, and okay, so we had some guitars down there that we took down, and they appealed to them, and I'm going to leave it at that. But they were guitars they were ornate, and they appealed to them. We took them down and showed it to them. And they were awesome. They were like, "Are you a guitar place in the building?" I'm like, "I'm right down the hallway, man. Come down before you roll out." I didn't think they'd come down. 10 minutes later, I'm down there, and they're banging on the door, and Fred and I welcome them in. We take pictures. We give them an acoustic. Washburn lets us give them one. And they're like, "We're going to take it straight on the plane with us." I'm like, "Awesome." We gave them some Boogie Street t-shirts, and off they went. So we had a couple pictures out of it. I'm like, "Wow, that was pretty damn cool." I'm laying in bed that night. My wife, who likes country music, big fan of you guys, has the CMAs on because it was that night in Vegas. And there's Johnny Van Zandt performing with my T-shirt on.
That's awesome.
How insane was that, right?
Awesome.
We had, they basically went to the airport in Pittsburgh, flew to Vegas for the award show. Just the whole craziness of it. But yeah, that was. And I immediately went out and bought that record. It's still in my CD changer.
Awesome people.
I love that. Good people. And they should have made more, right? There's an example where they had some success with it.
Hey, it's hard to work with a brother or a family member. So maybe they had their fill.
I don't know. Yeah. They may have.
Maybe they had their fill.
But it was such a good record. And that was another example of it. Then all they had first mover advantage being they already had success in rock. And that crossover thing, would you agree that crossing over from rock to country is easier? Maybe than going from country to rock.
Yeah,
or
you can play gypsy music and cross on over to country. That's what I mean. Like it takes it all. It takes everybody.
But those genres want to get in country. Isn't that interesting?
Because it's easy and it's lucrative comparatively to your small niche thing, right? Like country has everybody. So I mean, we have everybody, right? We have. Other than like hardcore rappers, we have everybody. Think about it. Like Hootie and the Blowfish.
But you got hip hoppers in there.
Honest to God, on the way over here today, I just heard the Hootie and the Blowfish song. It's on country radio. I like Hoot.
Absolutely right.
But it's Darius Rucker. But I heard it, loved it. The first line of the song was like, man, the 6 o'clock news. I fucking loved it. It said 6 o'clock news. They ought to call it 6 o'clock blues. I've never heard that before, and it's hilarious. But it's like it's a good song. Hold on. But I mean. So, like, Hootie and Blowfish sounded like country even when they were Hootie and Blowfish in the rock.
And again, doesn't it come back to our prior discussions that genres are fading away?
Yeah. At least in country music, it is. That's what I'm saying. And I think there's rock still, and there's rap and hip-hop, but I just think country has elements of all that, and so that's the only one you can do anything in. It's the only one. You can be a singer-songwriter.
Hip-hop's slowly coming in the rap,
if you're too country for the new country, then you're called outlaw country.
Outlaw country.
Which I've noticed, and people will get upset about this, but like a lot of outlaw country, I don't like, even though I like outlaw country when you think of people like Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings, because that shit was written well. But I think what's going on in today's world, people are just trying to find a niche or a market. They're writing not complete songs, and it's not quite good enough to make it the right, so just call it outlaw, just to get somewhere. But it's still, you got to write your best shit and get help to do it. It's like, I listen to these songs, it's like, there's a lot of guys getting real famous at it. It's like, I don't enjoy it. There's a lot of holes in those stories, but yet they got these cult underground movements going on because I think people are trying to hold on to something. But like Willie Nelson, all his songs are pretty goddamn right on the money. Waylon Jennings songs, I mean, he had some weird ones, but I mean, but by and large, they all made sense. And like, this is some of this shit, it's like, I'm not as big an outlaw country fan as I thought I would be in today's age. It's actually, it kind of sounds bad, kind of sounds out of tune, it sounds badly mixed. A lot of that stuff to me. Like, now maybe because I'm just getting so used to all that.
That's the musician in you, though.
Or the perfectness of technology. You know, the perfectness. It's everything's perfect now. The beat, the tempo, the rhythm, the time, everything is right in tune.
Do you like that?
I do. Who the hell wants to hear out of tune shit? I don't. That's why I have a tuner on my board. That's why I heard a guy say, if you're breathing, you better be tuning. And a lot of guys don't tune. Do anything like so. I mean, I want to hear it sound great. That's kind of the point.
Okay, get away from the tuning aspect of it. Do you like the rest of the? Is technology not bother you when it comes to music? No, you obviously adapted. You did.
Yeah, it only bothers me because that music's disposable now. That word you used earlier. That's why it bothers me, because everybody can do it now. At like 10 years old, if you can run an iPhone, you can make a record. So that sucks because it's just so saturated with all sorts of music and all sorts of people. So like, there's no real, you don't have to have a record label. You don't have to have any of the stuff to do music. So that sucks because it's harder to get in because there's so many people fighting for it now. So that sucks.
But the ease of entry probably is positive, right?
Well, yeah, because you want as many people in the world making music or art as you possibly can.
You would think, yeah.
Right. I mean, so that's why it's also good.
Or just at least be able to show off their creativity. They're not going to get paid for it, but have more way of showing it off to the public.
Right. No, I agree with that. I think that's great. I think it's awesome that like when you buy a MacBook, they give you GarageBand. You can, even when you buy an iPhone. I can
never get that damn thing to work though. I tried, man.
I'll show you how to arm a track. But I don't know, but I don't like it. But no, in technology, yeah, I mean, I like a record. People love this as vinyl stuff. I like a record. I don't want to hear a goddamn popping and cracking. I want to hear a record when I'm drinking and alone, or like I want to hear a great song, but I don't want to hear it on a.
So you're not an analog like.
I love analog stuff, but like. Nothing's easier. I want to hear a lot of songs, different genres. I want to hear them now.
Yeah, so for convenience purposes,
and it sounds great.
Yeah, I get it.
Shit sounds good.
I get it completely. I get it.
Every year you buy a better speaker, it sounds amazing.
But on the creation front, not the listening front, the creation front, has technology been a friend?
I mean, yes and no. I think with the technology, what's happened is every song sounds the same. Now that's because of technology, because we basically, with technology, we were able to break down songs and see that it's
a science now, right?
It's a half an intro.
It's a science.
2 verses, chorus, half a verse, chorus. Yeah, it's all science. It's perfect. So now with that, that's why every song kind of sounds the same, because they're all using basically the same formula. There's like 4 formulas. But there's the same 4, basically. Where older music, sometimes you didn't know what to play, right? So your bridge was like, you needed a bridge. Like in rock and roll music, maybe I needed a bridge there, but we don't have any words or know what the hell we're going to say. We'll play a minor lick guitar solo for 35 seconds. There's the bridge. Right. That's, there's a lot of that going on in today's world where they just
You're familiar with the rock band Rush, right?
Yeah.
How'd they make it?
I don't know.
Because there was no formula on any of that stuff. But it resonated, right? And 100 million records later, right? I mean, so there's always an I guess my point is there's always an outlier. There's always something quirky in all genres that resonates with people that shouldn't. I mean, logically, it shouldn't work.
Right.
But it does. So when you think it's outside the formula, it's not going to work, there's a slight chance that if it's good enough, or the content's good enough, or it speaks to people, it's going to resonate.
I think if you do what you love, and you do it a lot, and you make sure people hear it, and you try to keep getting better at what you love to do, I think people are going to find you, and you're going to find a fan base. I think when you do things that people want to hear you do, because I think when you just try to make it, you're just trying to get paid, or you're trying to get someone to like your video.
Yeah.
I think that's when that's the minute you go off the wagon. Trying to, let's make our music sound like this guy because that's what's hot right now. Well, it might last a little bit, but the truth is you're not going to last. You have no style, you have no heart, you have no character, you have no scars. You got to do your sound, but always try to improve it and try to make it fit, but on your terms. Get better at what you do. Don't get better at what somebody else does.
That's a lesson for life, though.
I agree.
Anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the creation of the show. We talked off camera. Like everybody's got an idea for me. I get all, and it's rewarding. They're saying, "Hey, Eric, I see you doing this and this, and I'll listen to anybody."
It's good to be seen.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Someone's taking notice of it, but it's everybody's idea of why we're sitting down talking and what the goal is. Meanwhile, there's no goal, as we talked about. Sure. This is evolving as it evolves with there's no steering wheel. But everybody has an idea of and I told you and Abby initially when you came on that this show we're not sponsored. I have no hope for that. This is really kind of autonomous right now, and that's where it's great for me because we're sitting here because I'm passionate to listen to people like yourself tell your stories. I think it goes for music the same thing. I mean, you talked about earlier that your hope for making $1 million in music is probably not there like it maybe was in the 2000s, right? Theoretically, could happen.
Probably did happen. It probably did happen.
Probably did happen. Good one. Good line. But you're doing it because you're passionate about it. Like anything. And that goes for, I think the good stuff in life happens when the financial component or the potential financial component is either not even seen or put aside. And you do it for some other purpose, to feel good, to maybe to impress someone you loved, whatever the reasons are.
Who cares what the reasons are? Get it out.
Yeah, just get out and do it because it feels good to you. It's got to feel good, right?
Right. Feels great.
I mean, music feels good to you, right?
Like when I first learned a song, I won't. My parents were so amazing. When I first learned a song back in, I'd run the country countdowns, on both sides, and I'd 2 double cassette 90-minute tapes, and then I'd go back through and I'd go learn all the songs. Like maybe not learn all of them, but I'd make sure I could play all the songs, let it go, and then to find the one I really love, like the new song, the new Dwight Yoakam song, the new Garth Brooks song. They were playing like once a day. You had to find it, get it, learn it, over and over and over, and do it. Then I'd go and knock on the door, and they'd be sleeping 3 a.m. on a weekend, open the door, put my knee up on the bed, what? And I'd play them the song, and they'd fucking listen.
Yeah,
tell me
God
it was
bless
good.
them, huh?
Oh, that's what I mean. Amazing. And it's like, but that excitement to be good at something, to show them, for them to say, what do you think?
Absolutely.
That whatever. So whatever it is for anybody, if it is you want to get a girl or girls, who gives a shit what your reason is, right? People might think it's superficial, but whatever gets you that fire
It's not
burning,
superficial.
get it going.
Yeah.
Keep the fire burning and keep it going. And eventually, that fire will change what kindling you need to put in it. But either way, keep the fire going.
Yeah, I think generally, because that passion shines through to an audience. You'll find an audience for whatever you try. If you're not looking for an audience, it's going to find you if it's authentic and it's real and people feel that. Right?
I completely agree.
All right. So what's the next 6 to 8 months look like for you?
Finding a job that gives me time. I don't have any time. Like the last 3 months have been terrible.
Okay.
Like emotionally for me, because I have all this stuff inside me. I got to get out, but I can't get it out. Right. But you got to feed the monkey.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The company store.
Absolutely.
So I got to play. I can't even play shows because I don't even know what time I'm getting out. It's not a bitch session, right?
No,
but
no.
It's
life.
It's life, and I got to blow it back up. So, but I got a life now. I need to get that together. So I'm trying to find a good way to do this where I can, lean off heavy on one job per se and be able to do many jobs because I need to get good again. I need to get back in this groove of creating music with new people, putting my ideas and thoughts down on the record again, or digital, or ones and zeros, whatever the hell it is these days.
Sure.
Getting it done and making a plan, because I really want to play music again. And I know that I can make enough money playing it if I can just get the 6 months to a year and get going. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's and plus all the THW stuff, but I also, I give that a lot of, because it's overwhelming, right? And it sounds like I'm being a pussy here, but it's overwhelming. It's like, the shows, the band needs the books to do that, right? Because you got to give somebody priority, right? So your job gets priority because it pays your bills. Then the band is your second one because that's when you've been so long, and that's like, we have bills in the band. Got to pay that, so I got to be there for that. Plus, it's my friends. And I like the damn band. And then there's my personal stuff, my creativity, plus making a living and all the other stuff I got to do to get my ideas and creativity out there.
Yeah.
So it's just so many irons in the fire. You can't just book a show. You got to call 4 people. You got to email 10, and it's like just a whole lot of bullshit. And I'm trying to wean some of that shit off my plate so I can just get to playing some music again.
Sure.
and writing it and collaborating. And I appreciate you having me on here to even get here and bitch about it. That's what I'm saying.
No,
like,
it's great.
We need more people like you in the world.
accommodate.
And thanks for having me. This is great.
THW, what's the next 6 to 8 months look like there?
No idea. We just don't know. I mean, we're just going to keep playing. We're hoping Jeff comes back. But we got a bass player, Matt Forte. He's doing a great job.
Yeah.
He's really great. We just hope to see Jeff, back around. Play some more shows. I don't know if we have any interest in cutting any more tunes. We might. We're trying to get
about
more.
cutting tunes now as opposed to like putting a whole album together, huh? It's a different landscape, isn't
Right.
it?
Nobody buys albums anymore. I mean, even the way they do it on like YouTube, not YouTube, iTunes or whatever it is. You buy them song by song. You really, I mean, it's like they put it out that way.
They kind of screwed it up.
Yeah.
The way they market it, market by track now as opposed to like by album. Something cool about an album,
I think
even
so.
the throwaways and the good ones, and let the fan decide.
The thing I hate most about the technology world, the way we're getting music now, is that I really miss having to go through that liner notes and see who the hell played this shit.
Absolutely.
I want to know who mixed, mastered it, who played the guitar on half of an acoustic part. I want to go see all that, and who wrote the song.
Right.
Right. So like you're educated and relevant on who's killing it now, right? I don't, Christ, you don't know. You have to kind of find out from the internet if you have to Google Wikipedia to see who the hell wrote something.
Yeah, no question at all.
That's the part I wish that someone would get a hold of and get the multimedia going. Even when you get in iTunes, they should have a discography. It should be on there.
No question. And so in that file that you download, could be a PDF file or some kind of like EML file, whatever it is, that has all of that.
All that information.
All the artwork, all the liner notes, all the...
Why is nobody doing this?
That's a great question.
Let's do it.
Because I'm sure it can't cost much.
No, it just costs a lot of time and effort because that's just not getting... It's getting written down in an account book somewhere, right? So every guy in the studio is writing a check to some guitar player or some fiddle player or some bass player, right? So you got to find out all those guys. Like, I'm sure there's no master list of everybody who was a part of that.
Has to be.
See, it had to be back then because...
Everybody's getting paid.
Yeah, but we were supposed to put it in that book. Now we don't have to put it in the book. Who the hell's writing it down?
Well, then there's still advertising costs, the photos for the album cover. There's got to be a photo taken, a marketing photo.
That costs money. Yeah,
you would think.
It does. I know it does.
Yeah, you went through it.
Yeah, and videos, photo shoots, cost a whole lot. This is no easy game.
Yeah.
If you want to make it to another level, and we can't even get past this level, right? Because it costs way more money to get from where we are now to the next one. And if anybody tells you it's not like we talked about, if it isn't a pay-by-play game, it is.
Yeah, it's a pay-all
It's
game.
money.
And I think money has always been the root of music, the root of evil in music. It's also made millionaires out of many artists as well too, and people around the peripheral, your executives in the record companies. I mean, there's a whole industry that all went away in like 99, 2000 with downloading, and now the whole landscape's completely different.
Born Too Late.
I mean, Born Too Late. That's a good song by the Clarks.
Great song, yeah.
Yeah,
Great song.
he was on. Scott, that's a great song.
Great song.
That's a great song. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah, come back soon and see me for sure.
We'll do.
And I'm going to embarrass you now. I want you and Abby and the boys to come on here and do an acoustic set for me.
We should do that.
Yeah, we're set up for it. I'd love to have you guys do an acoustic set here. And I told you before, Chris, if you're listening, I'm going to say it again. I'm just saying it as a show host, that this is a forum that all of you are always welcome. And if you ever decide to do a reunion show, I'd love to have it announce it right here. So.
Yeah, or just come here.
There's open chairs, and I'll bring more chairs. I have more chairs. We'll bring him in here.
No, Chris, just come here and talk shit on us. Why not?
Yeah. Love to see you guys get back together. God bless, man. I appreciate it.
Fingertips above the water, you watch me drown. You could have saved me, but you let me down. Yeah.